Chapter 196. This black tortoise baby is probably stronger than an 18 transformation golden core great Tao cultivator. Liu Baiwei studied it for a moment. But it's a supreme treasure now. Even the sect masters of the immortal Tao would scramble for it. If someone like Wen Hong were to capture it, it probably wouldn't be able to resist. Moreover, the black tortoise is of great use to the monster race. The nest of 10,000 dragons will definitely do everything in its power to capture it. I'm worried about that as well, but at least it's hatched now. It's much stronger than before. Gu Chunsha looked at the castle around him. The instant the black tortoise hatched, immortal qi flourished, turning the ground and walls of the castle, as well as the depths of the ground, the color of amethyst. Especially underground, there were many passageways that twisted and turned like a maze. Deep within the maze were large amounts of immortal qi crystals that formed a formation. The black tortoise's nest was almost complete. I'm not afraid. I'll build my nest here. No one can catch me in the nest. The black tortoise looked around for a moment, then shrank its head back into the ground. Father, I'm going to burrow into the depths of the earth and continue building my nest. It won't be easy for the bad guys to catch me down there. Father, find me some treasures of heaven and earth, or some magical items that I can use to build my nest. Treasures? Gu Chunsha took out the treasures he'd obtained from killing the 3 barbarian kings and the Thunder Beast King. He even took out the beast's corpse. Smack, smack. The black tortoise swallowed them all in a few bites. How did it have such a huge appetite? Gu Chunsha knew that there was a natural space inside the black tortoise's body. You can swallow all sorts of treasures? Liu Baiwei exclaimed. Every magical treasure has been refined through countless painstaking efforts by a cultivator, said Meng Hao. In addition, there are many natural treasures, all of which contain rich essence energy. After I swallow them, I can digest them and break them down into their original natural treasures, which are good things for my nest. This nest isn't sturdy enough yet. With a whoosh, the black tortoise burrowed into the ground from the sacrificial altar, its whereabouts unknown. Liu Baiwei split her divine sense and used her soul tentacles to observe the fist-sized hole under the altar. She discovered that the black tortoise baby was digging around in the ground. It really did seem to be building something. The black tortoise baby spat out the treasure it had swallowed, which turned into a sticky liquid. Any treasure could be digested, but the mysterious essence energy of the treasure itself was still there. The black tortoise is of the water attribute, and water can moisten all living things. The black tortoise itself is also an expert in refining magic treasures. This is the inheritance of an ancient divine beast, and it is more brilliant than the methods of the myriad treasures' profound gate. However, this method cannot be learned. It relies on its own true life water to melt treasures. Liu Baiwei observed for a long time. The 4 divine beasts of the primordial era were all experts in refining treasures. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and black tortoise. Needless to say, the azure dragon had the trait of being obsessed with collecting treasures. The white tiger had the metal attribute and was most proficient in forging divine weapons. The vermilion bird had the fire attribute and could smelt anything. In the future, this castle of yours will be continuously refined by the black tortoise to construct a nest. I'm afraid that even I won't be able to enter. Gu Chunsha also felt the changes in the foundation of the castle. He knew that with a black tortoise building a nest every day, the changes here would change with each passing day. In the future, it might become a truly stable foundation. This isn't our own strength either. That's right. That Luo Xiao said that he would come to the calming immortal department to pay taxes. At the same time, he handed over the name list. This is the first sect that our calming immortal department has subdued. I wonder how much taxes there will be. Even the most despicable of immortal Dao sects are overflowing with fat. Moreover, Luo Xiao's 3 extreme sect is only a second-rate sect. Liu Baiwei felt that her cultivation with Gu Chunsha had already come to an end. Now that our strength has greatly improved, the calming immortal department should also start doing things. Regardless of whether Luo Xiao sincerely submitted to us, he still has to establish an image for the profound immortal Dao sect. Let's go. Let's return to the calming immortal department and bring this person away. Leluha's clone, Liaoyang, was still here. He had completely converted and was as obedient as Yiming. Gu Qinsha nodded. I will make arrangements here and ask about the situation in the fief. After saying this, he called over his little foster son, Yiming, and inquired in detail about the capital flow of the fief, the various harvests, finances, talents, business, economy, and so on. After asking for a long time, he felt that the development was satisfactory. His little foster son was also in high spirits. He had already become a genius after consuming that dragon pellet. He was completely capable of running the entire fief, not to mention that he had an experienced person like Yiming working together with him. The economy of the entire fief was orderly, gradually increasing, and flourishing. Grandpa, there are 5 sources of income for our fief now. The first is the medicine hall's medicinal pills. The second is planting. The third is breeding. The fourth is forging weapons. And the fifth is business taxes. In total, we earn about 30 million every month. Of course, this does not include the fire dates and purplish-green immortal peaches produced in our castle. His little foster son reported. The medicine hall's medicinal pills naturally came from the various medicinal pills produced by the Wong venomous insect and the blue venomous insect poison sect. This was the main source of income. The rest of the planting and breeding were done by the barbarian slaves and the 6,000-year bone demons. The barbarian slaves were originally difficult to manage, but with the 6,000-year bone demons suppressing them, all of them were obedient. The barbarians looked down on humans and their bones, but they worshipped and feared terrifying creatures like the bone demons. Moreover, after Bao Ming had refined the 1,000-year bone demons, their intelligence had increased. They never stopped working. They opened up land, planted crops, captured raging bull for breeding, built houses, roads, canals, and drew rivers. All of these projects were done by one person, which was equivalent to 1 million laborers. Because of this, the income from planting and breeding increased rapidly. As for the income from forging weapons and armor, it was relatively insignificant. That was done by Bao Ming Er's disciples in the branch school. It was not as competitive as the Heavenly Designer Institute. However, Gu Qinsha still sent people to learn. At least with the basic knowledge, the fief would not lack craftsmen and craftsmen. 30 million a month? Lu Baiwe nodded repeatedly after hearing this. This is already a very shocking number. It is almost equal to the total income of all the prince's fiefs. This was actually all created by the 6,000-year bone demons. Gu Qinsha said, now that the Buzhou Palace has been taken by Wenhong, the suppressed demon domain will appear. Many demons will come out. When that time comes, we can take in a few 1,000-year bone demons as puppets. We could do a lot of things. Of course, demons, ghosts, and monsters must be used to their full potential. Lu Baiwe saw that Gu Qinsha had finished arranging everything in the fief. She was the first to fly, heading toward the yamen of the Celestial Calmness Department. Gu Qinsha naturally followed behind. The huge yamen of the Celestial Calmness Department towered over the wild plains, majestic and extraordinary. But at this time, this yamen had just been established and had not yet had any results. Many factions inside and outside the court were watching it as a joke, because even the most prudent person knew that collecting taxes from the immortal Dao was not something that could be accomplished by just 3 people. When the 2 of them landed in the Celestial Calmness Department, someone immediately came to greet them. It was Long Zaifei and Lu Huayue. Department heads, 3 extreme sects sect Master Luo Xiao, as well as the sect masters of the Shijin Gate, Demon Hunter sect, and Hunting Origin Hall. These 4 immortal Dao sects have arrived long ago. But because the 2 department heads are still cultivating in seclusion, they have remained here. Right now, Prince Hua is entertaining them. Long Zaifei was the first to greet and report. His every action had rules and regulations. He was solemn and cautious, and he had developed a bearing. Unparalleled geniuses were unparalleled geniuses. Their cultivations were different every day. They could advance even while lying down. Lu Huayue was even more unfathomable. Bring me to see them. Lu Baiwei waved her hand and came to the main hall of the Celestial Commerce Department. She saw the sect masters of the four immortal Dao sects sitting and chatting with the fourth while drinking tea. 19 and Baiwei are here. When the four saw the two of them come in, he was instantly overjoyed. He then looked at their complexions. Congratulations, congratulations. Your cultivations have improved greatly. I think that even if you meet that Xiao Yin again, you might still be able to fight. Hearing this, Luo Xiao and the others looked at each other. Their expressions changed, and they stood up in unison. Greetings, Minister. No need to be so polite. Lu Baiwei and Gu Chunsha sat down. The fourth, have you finished chatting with them? Yes. The fourth's position was below Lu Baiwei. When he saw the situation, he said, these four came here 5 days ago. They brought their sect's name list and the taxes they should pay. For this, I specially went to their mountain gate to check and found that what they said was true. Minister, this is the name list and name list. Long Zaifei handed over the name list. Lu Baiwa looked at it carefully and handed it over to Gu Qinsha. Only then did she close it. There are many things on this name list. There are all kinds of materials, fruits, spirit grains, as well as gold, silver, jade, and a few treasures. It is pretty much the same as the taxes of a few states. As expected, the Celestial Path sects are really extraordinary. If the ancient 72 sects are willing to pay taxes, then how would the people of the world be hungry? Even if the population increased by 10,000 times, it wouldn't be a problem. These four sects are just second or third rate in the Celestial Path, or even fourth or fifth rate. They can't compare to even 1% of any of the 72 sections. Gu Chansha observed a few of them. Apart from Luo Xiao being the strongest, the others were at Dao Realm 9 and 10 transformations. Although their cultivation was pretty much invincible in the mortal world, in the Celestial Path, they were just average. However, to be able to open a sect in the Celestial Path, one had to at least have the Dao Realm 9 transformations glass body. The Celestial Path was long, and just 100 years passed in the blink of an eye. Only the glass body had 300 years of lifespan, could barely open a sect. The main goal of opening a sect was to find a good disciple. Who knows, maybe one would benefit from it. In history, there were some small sects that were about to be wiped out. The sect leader's lifespan was about to come to an end, but he suddenly found a genius as a disciple. That disciple's cultivation increased by leaps and bounds. In a short few decades, he had many fortuitous encounters and actually made the sect flourish. He even helped his master extend his lifespan. There are many such examples. Power in the human world gathered, and it was the same for Celestial Path sections. All of you are willing to pay taxes and also willing to let the Imperial Court count your sections. You have all taken the initiative to convert. This is a great deed. Lu Baiwei thought about it. The four of you don't have to leave for now. Wait for the court meeting, and I will bring you up to meet the Emperor. There will definitely be rewards for you. Also, don't think that the Imperial Court is just collecting. Our main mission is to mediate the conflicts in the Celestial Path. The four of you belong to the Imperial Court, and I believe you have many problems. Report them to the Imperial Court, and they will help you solve them. Tell me about your problems. Chapter 197. Chief Minister, we indeed have unspeakable grievances. Luo Xiao didn't say anything. The heads of the Shijian sect, Demon Hunter sect, and Hunting Hall were full of grievances. We established a sect in the Eastern Wilderness, but now we're being squeezed by the 72 sections. We have to pay a lot of tribute to the Nine Swords mystical gate every year, and their disciples sometimes come to extort us. We can't do anything about it. With the guidance of Senior Luo Xiao and Senior Jin, we submitted to the Imperial Court in hopes that they will protect us. We won't be squeezed anymore. Here came the drama. Lu Baiwei, Gu Chunsha, and the fourth exchanged glances. This was expected. There were as many second and third-rate sects as there were hairs on an ox, and it was difficult for them to survive. They weren't as free and unfettered as some people said. The immortal Tao also had mutual deception, bullying the kind and fearing the evil, as well as murder and robbery. The fact that these sects were willing to pay taxes and submit to the imperial court meant that they were being squeezed by others. The imperial court had to stand up for them. First, there was the law. Since the sects were registered with the imperial court, they were protected by the law. For example, the sage families in the Yonko couldn't just casually make a rich family pay tribute every year. Since you have pledged allegiance to the imperial court, you will naturally be protected by the imperial court in the future. Everything under the heavens belongs to the imperial court, and not even the 72 sects of the immortal path can do anything to you. Liu Baiwei said, if they insist on causing trouble, then they will be destroyed. If they want to rebel, the imperial court won't be stingy with their methods. The fourth's tone was cold. His cultivation seemed to have comprehended something these days, and his confidence was greatly boosted. We have to plan this carefully. Guchen Sha thought even more. He'd come into contact with the 9 Swords mystical gate before. Last time, there was an elder called the 8th Sword Nunnery who went to his fief to hunt down Wang Ji and Lan Qi, saying he wanted to slay demons. Other than that, the 9 Swords mystical gate and the Crimson Firmament sect were the happiest at the imperial court. 9 Swords mystical gate disciple Jian Shengkong and Crimson Firmament sect Xiao Wujin actually talked back to the Heavenly Talisman Emperor. Even though the Heavenly Talisman Great Emperor didn't punish the two of them after the incident, one could still see the arrogance of the two sections. In this battle for the Buzhou Palace, the sect masters of the immortal Dao sects, namely the sect master of the 9 Swords Mystic Gate and the sect master of the Crimson Firmament Mystic Gate, attacked Wenhong. From this, it could be seen that these two factions were usually domineering and tyrannical. They were typical thorns to the imperial court. If these two factions could be uprooted, the task of the calming immortal department would be much easier to handle. If it was in the imperial court that day, Liu Baiwei and Gu Chansha would not even be a match for any of the disciples. But now that it had only been half a year, the two of them killed those disciples as if they were slaughtering chickens and dogs. Because of this, the two of them did not fear the celestial Tao mysterious gate, and instead thought of ways to weaken the authority of the celestial Tao. 19th brother, what do you think? The fourth asked. I've seen the arrogance of the 9 Swords Mystic Gate a long time ago. Gu Chansha said slowly, since they're bullying the four of us, there's no reason for them to stop just because they're scared by the imperial court. They might even kill the four of you, so we can't act rashly. We must plan. I think the four of you should prepare to move your sects near the imperial court. Dukshin, we're in trouble. Our sect has been in the eastern wilderness for generations. Our master's master has spent a lot of effort to find a place with good feng shui to gather spirits and refine souls. The people can move, but the land can't. Without the foundation, our sect will no longer be a sect. Luo Xiao complained. Yes, the founder of the Shijin sect finally found a Gungjin cave in the eastern wilderness 1,000 years ago, so he used it as the foundation to build the Shijin sect. God knows how long it took to build the sword cleansing pool and maintain the inheritance of the sect. If we leave the eastern wilderness, the sword cleansing pool will belong to the 9 Swords Mystic Gate. There are some people with ulterior motives in the 9 Swords Mystic Gate who want our sword cleansing pool, the sect master said. Gu Chansha had seen the list. The sword cleansing pool was built on a Gungjin cave, carrying the mystic gold qi for hundreds of millions of years. Generations of the founder of the Shijin sect had set up a formation to build the sword cleansing pool. For 1,000 years, many spiritual herbs had been collected and brewed in it. After generations of accumulation, the sword cleansing pool had spiritual effects. When people entered, they could open up their meridians and increase their cultivation. They could also brew sword qi. Other than that, there were many unexpected uses for refining Dharma treasures and flying swords. This time, the Shijin sect had sent a few jars of water from the sword cleansing pool. It was worth a lot, far more than the spirit liquid. I also know that it's not easy for sects like you to find good earth veins. For example, The castle I've built in my fief has only been in operation for a year. I can't give it up. Gu Qinsha had already thought about this. However, there are people in sections. Also, those earth veins can't be moved away by the 9 Swords Mystic Gate. They can only send people to occupy them. Once they occupy them, the Imperial Court will have an excuse to kill those who occupy them. As long as you don't die, you can save face for the Imperial Court. What the 9 Swords Mystic Gate took away will be returned sooner or later. Lu Baiwen nodded. This is more thoughtful. The Imperial Court will definitely be resisted if they collect taxes from the Celestial Dao sect. It's impossible for them not to rebel. The reforms of the Imperial Court in the past, such as the gentry paying taxes together, have caused huge changes. The world is in turmoil, not to mention attacking the Celestial Dao. The Celestial Dao is best at stirring up chaos in the world. It's also called following the heavens. Throughout the dynasties, when they don't like the emperor, they will send their disciples to the mortal world to assist the rebels and seize the world. The fourth seemed to be filled with hatred. I think with the information channels of the 9 Swords Mystic Gate, you've probably already found out that you've come to join the Imperial Court. If you go back now, I'm afraid you'll be in trouble. Gu Qinsha's words caused the expressions of the 4 of them to change drastically. If that's the case, we have to be on guard. Lu Baiwen said, the 4 of you are the face of the Imperial Court, as well as the face of the Celestial Tranquility Department. Nothing must happen to you. Everything is at your command, Chief. The 4 of them looked at each other and bowed again. The 4 of you, go and rest in the Celestial Tranquility Department. Don't go out. Wait for the Emperor to summon you at any time, Lu Baiwen reminded them. Seeing the 4 of them leave, the 4th's expression was solemn. The 9 Swords Mystic Gate is not to be trifled with. This time, I've done a detailed investigation. The Celestial Tranquility Department might really want to go against this sect. We can't let the Emperor do everything. Otherwise, we'll be ridiculed by the world and the Imperial Court. This is the first task we've done since the establishment of the Celestial Tranquility Department. We must be successful and give those who obstruct us a head-on blow. Lu Baiwen had thought it through. We already have an idea about this. Gu Qinsha stood up. 4th brother, since we have some time, I'd like to spar with you in martial arts. Last time, I couldn't even withstand a single blow from you. Let's see if I can improve now. Oh, the 4th laughed. 19th brother is familiarizing himself with martial arts to prepare for the upcoming battle. That's good. We can spar and prepare for the upcoming battle. I will watch. Lu Baiwen knew what Gu Qinsha was thinking about. There would definitely be battles with the 9 Swords Mystic Gate and the other celestial paths. There would definitely be bloodshed and killing. Strength was the most important thing. The 4th and Gu Qinsha jumped onto the battlefield. The 2 of them were actually on par with each other. 19th brother, your cultivation is really extraordinary. You managed to catch up so quickly. You should be at peak Dao Realm Transformation 7. But if you use the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, I really can't do anything to you. The 4th was smart and knew that the Dragon Transformation Pagoda absorbed all attacks from Xiantian energy. It also had the ability to store energy and change it. With this treasure in his Dantian, Gu Qinsha's cultivation would increase by at least 10 times. I will just rely on my own cultivation. Gu Qinsha opened his mouth and spat out the Dragon Gate. He didn't use the Demon Descending Blade or King Dragon armor. Just like that, he was left with his own strength. The Dragon Transformation Pagoda actually changed into the shape of the Dragon Gate. Old 4 was extremely envious. This kind of treasure is probably something that many old antiques can't even refine. It's all a coincidence. That Yuan Shasheng obtained the core of the ancient treasure, the Dragon Transformation Pagoda, and only then was he able to cultivate this treasure. I was just lucky to steal it. Gu Qinsha pulled with his hands, and instantly, Xiantian energy formed a spear in his hands. Shua! His astral energy spear pierced through the air, clumsy and staggering. It looked extremely slow, but its speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived in front of number 4. Good technique. 4th brother didn't move. He punched out and punched the spear. With the fourth's heart in the vast sky beyond heaven fist technique, it was illusory and indestructible. If hit by this spear, his Sciention energy would probably explode and shatter. But when the fourth's fist came into contact with the spear shrank inwards and turned into a spirit snake, biting at the fourth's back. The fourth brother turned around and punched out again. However, the spiritual snake turned thousands and thousands of times, turning into a divine needle and piercing towards his head. This Sciention energy transformation is really amazing. Lu Baiwei was shocked. Although she had cultivated with Gu Chansha and knew how powerful the Son of Heaven God sealing art was, she had never seen Gu Chansha use it himself. Now, Gu Chansha was using the solar moon transformation. After cultivating the Sciention energy, the Son of Heaven God sealing art showed its true strength. Solar moon transformation was all about transformation. The Sciention energy in the hands of Gu Chansha was able to transform, and there was no waste or leakage at all. Even if a normal person cultivated to the 7 transformation and could retract and release the Sciention energy, they wouldn't be able to do it perfectly, and there would still be leakage. When the enemy broke the Sciention energy, they wouldn't be able to retract it. But when Gu Chansha used the solar moon dragon energy to activate it, there were no weaknesses at all. The Sciention energy was really cunning and it was really strong. At the start, his spear was really cold like an army charging. Then, it turned into a spirit snake that spun thousands of times, dazzling one's eyes. But the strongest killing move was that needle. Sun Moon God Needle. In the solar moon transformation, the most penetrative attack was to condense the Sciention energy to the extreme to form this needle. With one stab, no treasure would be able to dodge it. Moreover, this needle was really thin and hard to notice. When one noticed that it had stabbed into their body, even gods wouldn't be able to save them. As expected, when the fourth saw the needle, his expression became really solemn. His body flashed, and he dodged the needle. He then got close to Gu Chansha and attacked his main body. Chapter 198. Sun Moon Transformation also had a speed technique. Along with the 10,000-mile flying cloud movement that Gu Chansha comprehended, he wouldn't let anyone touch his clothes at all. Even with the fourth speed, it would be really tough for him to pull Gu Chansha into a head-on battle. Even if the fourth was really strong and had many tricks up his sleeves, his cultivation technique definitely couldn't compare to the Son of Heaven God sealing technique. Moreover, Gu Chansha's Son of Heaven God sealing technique was different from the past, and it was even stronger than the ancient emperors. This was because the Son of Heaven God sealing technique and Lu Baiwei's Great Massacre God technique were merged together, causing the energy to change. One became a god while the other killed a god. Maybe this was what the Heaven Talisman Emperor had planned. Moreover, Gu Chansha comprehended his own Tao, using the suffering and ignorant people as his foundation. With his Tao, he would be firm. With this as the land, any divine ability seed on this fertile land could grow into a towering tree. For example, if it was Fa Wuxian, his Tao was the battle saint technique. He was unending in battle and was invincible. Even if he learned the Son of Heaven's God sealing technique, his Tao would not be able to grow anything. The Son of Heaven's God sealing technique would not bear fruit on the Tao of battle. Gu Chansha, on the other hand, used the world's ignorance, clumsiness, and suffering as the path of all living beings. Just like the stinky mud, it cultivated a holy and fragrant lotus. The Emperor's Tao was about saving the world, saving suffering, establishing order, and getting rid of ignorance. This meant that with the clumsy fist, the Son of Heaven God sealing technique wouldn't be useless. Maybe in the future, when Gu Chansha comprehended the clumsy fist even more deeply, he would be able to absorb the Son of Heaven God sealing technique and change the heavenly Tao so that the technique wouldn't be able to fly away. He planted the technique in the ground. Soul, snatching soul. It was at this moment that the fourth brother's eyes burst with a bright light. With his body as the center, invisible soul ripples suddenly spread out and densely covered every corner of the room. This wasn't innate stellar energy, but the power of the soul. Tao Realm, 12 Transformation, Soul Snatching Realm. Logically speaking, this realm could absorb the souls of anyone below Tao Realm Transformation 9 and turn them into walking corpses that listen to one's control. Moreover, this was mental energy, so it was impossible for it to be blocked by innate stellar energy. This energy was invisible and formless, and it could penetrate everything, even the void, because mental energy was originally illusory. The fourth's spiritual energy covered the sky and covered every corner of the palace. Naturally, Guchansha was unable to dodge. However, the spiritual energy penetrated Gu Chensh's body and was unable to control his soul. Wait! The fourth stopped and clasped his hands behind his back. 19th brother, I didn't expect you to have a soul-stabilizing treasure. Since that's the case, there's no need to continue. Inside Gu Chensh's mind was the sun and moon sacrificial altar that was transformed from the heaven sacrificial talisman. No one could take away his soul. Lu Baiwei stepped forward and said, Lao Si, actually you still have many tricks that you haven't used. If you use your trump card, Jiang Yashuang won't be a match for you. Unless he uses the Dragon Gate, you two will be evenly matched. I don't fear him if he uses Dragon Gate to absorb innate stellar energy. But since he has a soul-stabilizing treasure, it means that all my mental energy techniques are useless against him. We won't be able to continue this battle at all. The fourth said, 19th brother, you have to be careful. No one can resist snatching a soul-stabilizing treasure. Fourth brother, I will be careful and won't easily reveal it. Gu Chensha studied a lot and knew what a soul-stabilizing treasure meant. Tao Realm people use their minds to connect with the spiritual world and absorb spiritual energy into their bodies. They didn't need to eat anything in the world and were really clean. Actually, there were huge risks in the spirit world. One would occasionally encounter some evil intent. If one accidentally absorbed it into one's body, one's soul would be tainted and one's cultivation would go berserk. One might even become a devil, not a human. There were countless such examples in history. The higher one's cultivation, the more spiritual energy they absorbed, and the higher the chance of absorbing evil intent. Apart from that, if one met an expert and used soul snatching, it would be extremely dangerous. But with a soul-stabilizing treasure, one could resolve everything. 19th brother, your innate stellar energy has endless transformations and is extremely powerful. It's terrifying. I am really glad. Add the soul-anchoring treasure to the mix, and I doubt anyone below the 18 transformations of the immortal Tao will be able to defeat you. Number 4 nodded. If that's the case, then we can make even more plans. I would like to spar with you more and familiarize myself with the circulation of stellar energy. Gu Chensha and Lu Baiyue's cultivation had improved too quickly recently, and they hadn't had much actual combat experience. The fourth was the best opponent. All right, then, I will accompany 19th brother to train the soldiers. Speaking of which, 19th brother's actual combat experience is indeed lacking. Fourth brother attacked again. The two of them fought back and forth, purely using innate gang energy to fight. Just like that, they fought for a few hours. Gu Chensha became more and more proficient, almost to the point of being able to fight to his heart's content. He gained new insights into the Son of Heaven's investiture art, the great massacre god technique, and various other martial arts battles through repeated tempering. He felt that the Xiantian stellar energy was boiling in his body and was about to break through a certain fixed frequency to form the 8 transformation Samadhi true flame. His cultivation was originally really slow, but since he dual cultivated with Lu Baiwei, his cultivation had increased by leaps and bounds. He went from Tao Realm Transformation 4 to Peak 7. If he continued at his original speed, he probably wouldn't be able to reach such a height even if he cultivated for another 10 years. Of course, Lu Baiwei had even more benefits than him. His Sun-Moon Dragon Blood was a great supplement for those on the brink of death. When the two of them fought, Lu Baiwei would occasionally attack. The three of them trained in the Calming Celestial Bureau to train and prepare for the upcoming battle. On the second day of training, The three of them felt like they had gained a lot. They packed up and brought Luo Xiao along with the other three sect leaders to the morning court. The great Yonko morning court wasn't held every day, but once every 7 days. If something huge happened, God Talisman would hold it. This was because Lu Baiwei, Gu Chansha, and the others had missions outside, so they didn't attend every day. Today was the day of the regular court meeting, and the three of them had to report the results of the calming Celestial Bureau. Early in the morning, before the sky was even bright, the few of them entered and came to the front of the palace. They handed over their tokens and were led in by the eunuchs to wait in the square. Many officials of the imperial court also gathered here one after another. The earthquake a few days ago had been completely repaired like nothing had happened. News from all over the country said that the various states had resumed production and there were no large-scale riots. In just a few months, the world would be settled. Since Big Brother was reprimanded, he hasn't been able to recover and has been studying at home. But Seventh Brother is in high spirits. Gu Qinsha looked at the many officials and princes around. 18th Brother and 14th Brother have also improved quickly, but the difference between us is too great. Second Brother hasn't returned. I wonder what his cultivation is like. Second Prince Gu Xinsha had been mapping outside and was extremely mysterious. Even though Gu Chansha had only seen his brother once when he was young, his memories were blurry. Seventh Brother Gu Fascia was originally the strongest, but he was still at the 9 transformations of Tao and couldn't reach the 10 transformations. Gu Fascia had top-grade talent, and at the 9 transformations, he had used up all his potential. If he wanted to improve, unless he obtained a supreme treasure like the dragon pellet, he would be stuck here. As for Gu Qinsha, he was a genius. Geniuses were people who could cultivate to the golden pellet of the great Tao. They far exceeded top-grade talent. Gu Chansha and the other two brought Luo Xiao and the others to the square. They instantly attracted the gazes of the officials, and they all whispered to each other. Some of the more informed officials already knew about the situation at the Buzhou Palace burial land, and they all had different views of Gu Qinsha. Everyone, it is time to head to court. Gao Ling sang loudly in front of the hall. The officials walked in one after another. Lu Baiwei had a noble status and actually walked in front. Her status was even higher than her father, Lu Chongxiao's. This was the rule. Calming Celestial Division was given a token that meant that her status was the same as the 2 heads of Heavenly Craftsman Institute. Heaven Talisman Emperor was high above and was still in charge of the world. Seeing that the Emperor was still there, Gu Chansha heaved a sigh of relief. He had been worried that one day Heaven Talisman Emperor would leave the court. What would he do then? Reporting to your majesty. Lu Baiwei was the first to speak. Your subject has already completed the first collection of taxes from the Calming Celestial Division. They are from the Triji sect, Shijian sect, Demon Hunter sect, and Hunting Origin Hall. This is the list of taxes collected. The resources are all in the Calming Celestial Division. Your majesty can allocate them at any time. This lowly immortal greets your majesty. Luo Xiao and the others hurriedly knelt down and kowtowed 9 times. They didn't feel humiliated at all. They already knew that this emperor was stronger than the immortal's capital. Kneeling down wasn't a big deal. Rise. Heaven Talisman Emperor said amiably, the 4 of you are the first to be willing to pay taxes. The court will naturally not mistreat you. I want to reward you as role models for the immortal Tao. As he spoke, Heaven Talisman Emperor flicked his palm lightly. Immediately, halos of light descended and gathered around the 4 of them. The auras of the 4 of them surged as their wills surged. All of their cultivation bases actually improved by leaps and bounds. This was especially so for Luo Xiao. He actually became much younger, turning from an old man to a middle-aged man. Luo Xiao, your lifespan is reaching its end soon. Even if you try to seize another body and reincarnate, you would only be struggling at death's door. In addition, the laws of the court state that seizing another's body is an act of evil. You cannot do this. Seeing that you are the first to submit to the court, I will borrow another 100 years of lifespan from the heavens to bestow upon you. Take care of yourself. Heaven Talisman Emperor spoke. Many thanks, Your Majesty, many thanks. Luo Xiao immediately knelt down again and kowtowed repeatedly. At this moment, he was both shocked and overjoyed in his heart. His lifespan was reaching its end. This was something he was extremely worried about. Once he died, hundreds of years of bitter cultivation would go down the drain. Now that the Heaven Talisman Emperor had extended his lifespan by another 100 years with a flick of his fingers, he felt that not only did he not suffer a loss in paying taxes, he even profited greatly. Naturally, this was the first person he submitted to. Those who came after him wouldn't be so lucky. Your Majesty, I, Prince Chun, and Prince Hua went to the burial ground several days ago to retrieve the Buzhou Palace. However, we failed, and the palace was taken away by Wenhong. Please punish us for this matter. Liu Baiwei reported. Chapter 199. In the Imperial Court, the calming Celestial Department reported the results. They had directly won over the leaders of the 4 second-rate and third-rate sects and collected a large amount of taxes. It could be said that they had made some achievements. This time, the calming Celestial Department has done a good job of subduing the 4 sects so quickly. But we still need to speed up the process and make the 72 sects express their stance. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor said, I'll leave all of this to you. I mean to train you. Your Majesty, we will do our best to work for the Imperial Court. Liu Baiwei's face was expressionless and very serious. Also, after the calming Celestial Department collects taxes, will the money be transferred into the National Treasury through the Ministry of Revenue, or will it operate on its own? You arrange this matter yourself. The calming Celestial Department has independent and arbitrary decisions. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor said without hesitation, the Ministry of Revenue is in charge of collecting taxes from the people. You are in charge of the celestial tax. What you collect is not money or rice, but all kinds of celestial materials. Although these things are of great value, it is not appropriate to transfer them into the National Treasury. So you will operate these on your own. Yes. Liu Baiwei also knew that when the celestial materials entered the National Treasury, the officials in the Ministry of Revenue would not use them, and it would be a waste. They could use these materials to do business with the celestial cultivation sects, exchange with the Heaven Palace sect, and trade with the big families among the people. They could make money, and in this way, the power of the calming Celestial Department would snowball. Many officials and princes were shocked. In this way, the calming Celestial Department would really be an independent system, and it would be completely under the control of these 3 people. Lu Chongxiao, how is the disaster relief going? The Heavenly Talisman Emperor asked. Your Majesty, according to the information from the various prefectures, the disaster relief is going very smoothly. According to the original plan, they have replanned the cities, built houses, and transported rice. These years, the National Treasury has accumulated a lot of savings and can support it. In the past, whenever there was a major disaster, the big families would be generous. But this time, the big families didn't care. I don't agree with this, and some of the big families are spreading rumors that are not good for the Imperial Court. Lu Chongxiao actually directly attacked the big families of the sages in the Imperial Court. Iron Blood Marquis, how do you feel about monitoring the traitors in the world? The Heavenly Talisman Emperor asked. Replying to Your Majesty, ever since the phenomenon occurred, this subject has been paying close attention to the common people. At this time, the traitors will definitely stir up trouble, causing turmoil in the world and bewitching the hearts of the people. There were indeed some demons who stirred up trouble, but they were all extinguished by this subject. This subject has also discovered that many sects of the immortal Tao have begun to secretly operate among the common people, as if they are searching for the person who descended the fiend star. The Iron Blood Marquis then reported, this is not a small matter. This official wishes to report this to the Emperor. Is that all right? Throughout history, there have been many extremely talented people who were born from the Star Chi. They weren't people who descended from the Demon Star. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor looked at the sky outside the palace. For example, you, Marquis Dashi, were born from the energy of stars, didn't he still become a cornerstone of the imperial court? Yes. Marquis Boulder took a step forward. It is all because of your majesty's nurturing that I am able to have my present achievements. Marquis Boulder didn't have a father. Instead, his mother had gone up the mountain to worship the gods and had fallen asleep beside a large rock. When she returned home, she became pregnant. That large rock was a star that had fallen from the sky, and a mysterious and unfathomable essence had entered his mother's body, giving birth to him. In a certain sense, Marquis Boulder was also born from the energy of the stars. Then what do you think? The Heavenly Talisman Emperor asked. The good and evil of a person are all nurtured after birth. Marquis Boulder hurriedly said, even those who are born evil will return to the righteous path if they are reformed. But those who are born kind will also become the most evil of devils if they are bewitched by the evil path. The imperial court must find the people who were born from the will of the stars and educate them. We cannot let them walk the evil path and harm the common people. It seems that this is the only way. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor nodded. This time, the descent of thousands of star chi into the world is something that has never happened since ancient times. If we use it well, the imperial court will gain thousands of talents and a golden age will come. If we don't use it well, those people will bring disaster to the world. Princess Uefu, this official is here, Liu Baiwei repeated. I'll leave this matter to your Department of Calmness as well. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor said, we have high hopes for the Department of Calmness, but we don't have enough talents right now. We won't send those old geezers to help you, because we hope that the youths of your generation will rise up on their own. With your actions, you will be able to inspire more youths to change the world. Moreover, since the immortal Tao is secretly operating among the people, it's against the laws of the imperial court to search for people who can descend from the stars. The Department of Calmness must stop them. Yes, Liu Baiwei already understood the Heavenly Talisman Emperor's thoughts. This official will act immediately. We will search for people who are born from the will of the stars and nurture them in the Department of Calmness, leading them onto the righteous path. The path of the Department of Calmness is long and arduous. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor said, compared to those old geezers from the Heavenly Designer Institute, we favor you more. As for the matters of the aristocratic clans, how can we not know? The spirits of the saints in the aristocratic clans have told them that we are not tolerated by the heavens and earth. That's why they are fighting against us. But today we will say it in front of all of you. Those saints are shallow. How could they truly understand the heavenly Tao? However, those saints have also contributed greatly to humanity. As long as their descendants don't cause any trouble, we can tolerate it. The entire court of civil and military officials did not speak. They all lowered their heads. Your Majesty, there's no need to care about this. The world is getting better and better, and the barbarians are losing ground. In a few more years, the imperial court will unify the barbarian desolate and accomplish many things that the ancient heavenly sons couldn't accomplish. Even the saints couldn't do it in ancient times. Feng Lin, the minister of the study, reported, moreover, your Majesty's enlightenment of the barbarians is almost complete. With the evil god sealed, the newborn barbarian children won't have any evil chi and can be taught etiquette and poetry. Barbarian Saint Hung has been sealed by us, but I didn't kill him. However, powerful characters have also been born among the barbarians. It won't be easy to eliminate them all. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor looked at 7th Prince Gufasa. Little 7, how are your recent battles? I asked you to destroy the Temple of Mahanata, but have you done it? Replying to Imperial Father, Gufasa said, the Temple of Mahanata is the most extensive in the barbarian desolate. I've already conquered 3, but the largest one is embedded in the void. I'm thinking of a way to eradicate it. You've been working hard these days. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor said, the core of the Temple of Mahanata is indeed difficult to find, but the core of the barbarians is the barbarian Saint Palace. You have to be careful. Thank you for your concern, Imperial Father. I'll do my best to serve the Imperial Court. The 7th Prince was overjoyed. Just as the imperial court was discussing many important matters, two young men stood on the great stone wall not far away. Their clothes fluttered in the wind, looking at the barbarian desolate from the outside and the divine continent from the inside. Originally, the Great Stone Wall was an important military place. There were many places on the Great Wall guarded by the army, and the common people were forbidden from coming up to see it. However, ever since the imperial court's army went out to expand their territory, the battlefront was extended and many cities and fortresses were built in the barbarian desolate. Even the capital city was built in the barbarian desolate. The Great Stone Wall was also open to the public, and it became a scenic spot. Any common person could visit it as long as they paid some money. As a result, there was an endless stream of tourists on the Great Wall. These two young men mixed in with the tourists, but their demeanor was extraordinary. Brother Chankong, only the Nine Swords mystical sect and the other three sects have submitted to the imperial court. Now, the Heavenly Talisman Emperor is praising them in court. What do you think? A young man said to the other young man. These two young men were Jian Chankong and Xiao Wujin, who had contradicted the Heavenly Talisman Emperor in court. They were the outstanding disciples of the Nine Swords mystical sect and the Crimson Firmament sect. Nothing much, just one word, kill. Jian Chankong exuded a murderous aura. Our Nine Swords mystical sect has many second- and third-rate sects that have to pay tribute to us. We protect them, but now they dare to betray us. If we don't punish them, they'll all submit to the imperial court. I believe your Crimson Firmament sect has many such vassal sects, right? The imperial court is forcing us into a dead end. Xiao Wujin's eyes were filled with deep hatred. Our Crimson Firmament sect has become the laughingstock of the immortal Tao. Elder Wangji is still doing labor. We can't even save him. Elder Wangji has been repairing bridges and roads among the people. He's been providing disaster relief everywhere. Damn it. Jian Chankong mourned the death of a rabbit, but he didn't mock them. He has a talisman on him, so he can't move recklessly. If he does, he'll explode and die. Even now, we don't dare to save him. Heavenly Talisman, that dog emperor deserves to die. Xiao Wujin pointed in the direction of the burial grounds. You know what happened at the burial grounds a few days ago, right? I didn't expect those three to be so powerful. That Wen Hong's interference complicated the situation. The three he was referring to were Liu Baiyue, Gu Chunsha, and Gu Huasha. Kill them all, Jian Chankong said. Heavenly Talisman's dog emperor seems to want to nurture them. They're indeed improving rapidly. If this continues, those three won't be easy to deal with. The Black Heaven and Earth Gate is already making plans. Xiao Wujin frowned. Of those three, the hardest to deal with is Liu Baiyue. She's cultivated the great massacre divine art. According to Uncle Master Xiao Yin, she's extremely terrifying. She can even kill enemies many levels above her. I think it's a good thing. Jian Chankong snickered. I want to kill her. I can turn her into my puppet and peek at the secrets of the great massacre divine art. It's not impossible. I don't believe the Heavenly Talisman Emperor's great massacre divine art is invincible, Xiao Wujin said. But the most important thing now is to kill the traitors of the immortal Tao. Don't they want to collect taxes from the immortal Tao? Let's kill them all and see who dares to join the imperial court. Chapter 200. That day, I saw numerous demon stars descend into the world. Logically speaking, when the demon star energy falls into the ground, there should be a special characteristic. But these few days, I have been searching among the people, and there are actually no signs. Xiao Wujin frowned, so I sent an elder to find Buzhou Palace to get the Zhou Tian instrument and use it to calculate. The Zhou Tian instrument has fallen into Wen Hong's hands, and we can't take it back. Jian Chankong wanted to kill once more. This person is really a sh*T stick. His attitude is really ambiguous, nurturing Xian Xiao and the others to go against Heaven Talisman Emperor. At the same time, he's trying to get close to those 3B*Cheese. Does he want to benefit from both sides? He has his own plans, but if he goes against us, he will die sooner or later. Xiao Wujin waved his hands. Our celestial path, highest ancestor, the three heaven venerables, are about to return. Along with them will be many Taoist ancestors celestial. At that time, our overall strength will increase by dozens of times. Let's see how strong that dog emperor is to be able to fight against us. Jian Shankong said, actually, the thousands of demon stars that descend into the world definitely have a Star Lord. As long as we can find the person who reincarnated, we will be able to control the other demon stars. I think the Imperial Court will do something. We have to be one step ahead. Xiao Wujin said, let's walk around, and maybe we can obtain some sort of fortuitous encounter. The sect's Grand Elder calculated that the two of us have huge fortuitous encounters, and we will have a chance to achieve great things in the future. Unfortunately, even if one cultivates the golden core of the great Tao, one will only have 1,000 years of lifespan. Even if one becomes a god, one will only have 10,000 or even tens of thousands of years of lifespan. Jian Shankong thought about it and shuddered. I personally saw it. Our sect had a Grand Elder who was about to reach Tao Realm Transformation 30. But after 3,000 years of lifespan, his energy dissipated and he died in the end. Even after reaching Tao Realm Transformation 30, one will only have 3,000 years of lifespan. Xiao Wujin said, unless a god talisman appears and one can become a god, one's lifespan will increase by several times or even 10 times. Unfortunately, the god talisman hasn't appeared yet. Then we can only find the primeval dragon gate. This treasure can also increase one's lifespan. The three ancient celestial venerables and Li Wanlong have all entered this gate. Unfortunately, the number of people who obtained this opportunity was even fewer. I shudder at the thought of cultivating painstakingly for 3,000 years and still turning into dust. But this time, with the great changes of the world, there might be a chance to obtain immortality, Jin Shinkong said. Let's go. We still have many chances. Xiao Wujin's body flashed and disappeared. Jian Shinkong also disappeared. The two great mystical sects began to make arrangements. At this time, the court meeting was also dismissed. After a round of discussion in the court, the Department of Tranquil Immortals had another mission, and that was to search among the commoners for a person who had reincarnated with the aura of the stars. Everyone in court knew that this was the Emperor continuously expanding the authority of the Celestial Calming Department. He truly wanted to raise Liu Baiwei, Gu Chansha, and the fourth into pillars of the empire. Of course, the three of them didn't make the Heaven Talisman Emperor lose face. Take the weakest among them, Gu Chansha, for example. In the past 2 years, he had been pretending to be crazy. However, once he left the capital city, he killed the 4 great demons, recruited subordinates, allied with Dragon Sword Island and Precious Jade Nation, established a fief, and obtained a huge amount of wealth. In an instant, his wings had become plump. That was not all. His cultivation had made continuous breakthroughs. The battle at Buzhou Palace in the burial grounds had truly shocked many people of the older generation. He killed the 3 barbarian kings and fought with the lightning beast king Lei Wuxia, who was at the 14 transformation, and killed him. He had already become a terrifying existence that even Celestial Path disciples feared. To be able to kill the lightning beast king, who was at the 14 transformation, many experts had to think twice. Logically speaking, even if a monster king like Lei Wuxia couldn't win, he could escape. How could he have been killed? After the 7th Prince's court meeting, he returned to his own land. His land was a few thousand miles away from the palace, but it wasn't much to him. He was already a Tao Realm Transformation 9 expert, and his Xiantian energy was really thick. If he flew, he would be able to reach his land in 4 to 4 hours. Moreover, he had some strong treasures on him. After all, he was a prince with a deep foundation. Although Gu Qinsha had caught up, even a broken ship had 3 nails. Old Jean, after returning to the residence, he saw that Jean Suibua was waiting for him. He was slightly furious. You were the one who convinced Luo Xiao? He brought the other 2nd and 3rd-rate celestial sects to join calming. Celestial Department? Why did you betray me? Seventh Master, please calm down. I was helping you. Jean Suebois did not panic in the slightest. If it wasn't for my glib tongue that made the three great sects pledge their allegiance to the Tranquil Immortal Department, the Nine Swords Mysterious Gate would not have been truly angry and killed the Tranquil Immortal Department. Oh, you are causing a war between calming Celestial Department and Celestial Path? The Seventh Prince's expression changed. Let's go. Let's talk in the reading room. The two of them walked into the reading room, and the Seventh Prince realized that there was actually one more person there. That person was really calm and composed. He wasn't old, around 17 to 18 years old. The most obvious thing was the bone ring on his finger. It was actually Gu Tanjian, Crown Prince Gu Hongsha's son. Seventh uncle, recently you have been praised by the Emperor Grandfather. Gu Tanjian twisted to the Great Spirit God ring on his finger. He didn't even stand up and just spoke casually. Nephew, you seem to be too arrogant. You didn't even bow when you saw me. For some reason, Seventh Prince Gu Fascia felt really annoyed when he saw Gu Tanjian. He flicked his finger, and a streak of Xiantian energy shot over. Gu Tanjian smiled and reached out with his hand. A ball of lightning appeared on his claw and dissipated the Xiantian energy. Your cultivation. Gu Fascia was shocked. His flick was a top technique of the legalists, and even people at the same realm as him would find it hard to block. Gu Tanjian was actually able to dissipate it so easily. Even Big Brother can easily dissipate my finger. You aren't Gu Tanjian. Seventh uncle, you underestimate me. Father's cultivation is similar to yours, but that is because both of you have top-grade talent. You have already reached the peak. Gu Shengjian laughed coldly. Based on history, people with good talent can only reach Dao Realm 8 transformations at most, and it might even be impossible. It is impossible for one to break through to the glass jade body. Now that seventh uncle has broken through, that is a heaven-defying act. It is already good that he didn't bring disaster. One must know that with seventh uncle's talent, if he does such a heaven-defying thing, when he absorbs spiritual energy, he will be attacked by an invisible demon. What are you trying to say? Gu Fascia looked at him for a while and was shocked. You have top talent. So how is that possible? A year ago, your talent was just top grade. Moreover, when you were young, you weren't even top grade talent. This was only because you wore the Great Spirit God ring from a young age. It affected your mind and affected your mind, allowing you to be cleansed by the God power. Only then did your talent change. Right, I was born with mid-grade talent. In a rich family, I could protect the family and not be a playboy. But in the royal family, it is not enough. Gu Shengjian said slowly, and in the immortal Tao, there are many secret pills and magic treasures that can at most raise one's aptitude to high grade. It's impossible for one to become a genius, because the difference between genius aptitude and high grade aptitude is just too great. Only the primordial dragon gate or some secret sacrificial ritual in the heaven offering talisman can allow one to break through and become a genius. What you mean is that you obtained the heaven sacrificial talisman. Gu Fascia was shocked. I really underestimated you. That's not it. A mysterious smile appeared on Gu Shengjian's face. But there were gods in ancient times who had obtained the alchemical pills sacrificed by the Son of Heaven, or some things left behind by the dragon sect of the primordial era, that can raise one's aptitude. I have some things here. Although they can't raise seventh uncle's aptitude to that of an unparalleled genius, it's still possible for him to become a genius. What? Gu Fascia found it harder and harder to understand this Gu Shengjian. This person was originally unremarkable, but now he was so mysterious and unfathomable. Recently, no matter what pills he ate or how hard he trained, he didn't have the ability to multitask. This was a problem with talent. Moreover, when he cultivated and absorbed spirit chi recently, he always felt nervous. He found that when he absorbed spirit chi, there would occasionally be evil thoughts trying to invade his mind. This was a formless demon. In the spirit world, not all spirit chi was pure. Many spirit chi had been contaminated by demonic chi and evil thoughts. Once he absorbed it, it would be very dangerous. That was why he chose to use formations to gather spirit chi and then set up demon-subduing formations to purify the spirit chi before absorbing it. However, this was very troublesome and inefficient. Because of this, he desperately wanted to raise his talent at all costs. What method do you have to make me a genius? He calmed down and stared at Gu Tanjian. He knew that the eldest prince was very vicious, but it seemed that Gu Tanjian was far more vicious than the eldest prince. Of course I have a way, Gu Tanjian said. For example, the ancient son of heaven killed a tiger and a wolf as a sacrifice and obtained a tiger-wolf pill, which could raise one's talent to mid-level. But if you killed a king dragon as a sacrifice, you obtained a dragon-raising pill, which could raise one to a genius. If you killed a divine dragon as a sacrifice, you obtained a dragon-nurturing pill, which could raise one to an unparalleled genius. I read about all this in ancient books. How can I not know? Gu Fascia said. The king dragon is a great path golden core expert. How can you capture it? Besides, it's unknown whether there are still dragons in the world, and the divine dragon is almost like a god. Besides, even if you capture the king dragon, you won't get a dragon-raising pill without the heaven sacrifice talisman. I have a dragon-raising pill, Gu Tanjian said with a chuckle. What do you want? Gu Fascia frowned. Even the celestial path sects would fight for such a pill. Would you give it to me so easily? Of course not. But I want to do something, and I need F.A. Wuxian's help. If Seventh Uncle has a way, I can give the dragon-raising pill to you. Gu Tanjian turned to the Great Spirit God Ring. If one's tone was half-hearted, it was better to walk the path of darkness to the end. Let's take a gamble. That's right. Gafas's eyes shone brightly. If I can make a great contribution to Father, the benefits will be greater than anything else. After all, I'm his son. Look at old 19 and Lu Baiwei. They've been following Father wholeheartedly. They've improved so quickly. It would be strange if Father didn't give them benefits behind their backs. That's right. Actually, in this world, only His Majesty can give His Highness enough benefits. No one else can. The school of legalism is petty. Until now, they haven't truly considered His Highness. I can say with certainty that, as the #1 Saint clan, the school of legalism definitely has pills that can increase a person's aptitude, Jean Suib was said. Mr. Jean, you're not simple either. Gafasa thought about it and felt that it made sense. It seems that I feel that you're becoming more and more mysterious. What exactly do you want? What's your goal? Tell me the truth. It's better for His Highness not to know. It's not good to know too much. His Highness just needs to remember that I won't harm you. Jean Subwa suddenly released a mountainous and ocean-like aura. Okay, Gafasa was extremely shocked, but he was also a formidable person. He knew that a wise man submits to circumstances. He stood up, cupped his hands, and said, Mr. Jean, then I'll rely on you. That's easy. I've always been planning for His Highness, Jean Suib was said. It's best for His Highness to befriend His 19th Highness, Lu Baiwei, and His 4th Highness. Let go of the past. Even if we can't be friends, we can't be enemies. What? Gafasa frowned. I took old 19th's magic-breaking celestial sword and devil-warding celestial robe. I already have a grudge against him. I'm afraid it's impossible to befriend him. It's okay. His Highness can return these 2 treasures to His 19th Highness, and everything will be over. Jean Suebo waved his hands. Mr. Jean, it's easy for you to say. The magic-breaking celestial sword is really strong, and after wearing the devil-warding celestial robe, it can suppress the soul and get rid of demons. No matter how strong an expert is, they won't be able to shake my soul. It can also defend against all sorts of demons. If I didn't have these 2 treasures, I would have died many times. I'm at Tao Realm transformation stage now. With these 2 treasures, I can even beat King Barbarian, who is 3 transformations above me. Gafasa definitely couldn't give up on these 2 treasures. His Highness isn't really giving them to him. Jean Suebwa said, he's just apologizing and saying that he's borrowing them and will return them in the future. Moreover, His Highness is alone and without help. So how will he investigate Gu Tanjian? He can only borrow the strength of His 19th Highness and Lu Baiwei. This is a good thing. Gafasa clapped his hands and cheered. Mr. Jean, you really are my brain. How about this? I will immediately visit 19 and Lu Baiwei. Your Highness, please wait. Don't forget this. If you just go over, they might not believe you. Their relationship is deep, so let me mediate. Jean Sui was said right away. To them, I have made some contributions. I can persuade second and third-rate celestial sects and even gain their trust. It isn't impossible for me to join the calming celestial division. This is good, Gufasa said excitedly. You must join the calming celestial division. You have to. Calming celestial division is one piece, and if you join, then I will have people inside. Watch as I plan for your highness. Jean Suewa's eyes shone, and no one knew what he was thinking about. Within the calming celestial division, Gu Chansha, Lu Baiwei, and the fourth also came down from the court meeting. Who would have thought that the emperor would give the mission of finding the person who reincarnated with the energy of the stars to our calming celestial division? This is difficult. The fourth looked at the sky. The heavenly secrets are in chaos, and the universe is overturned. It is difficult to divine. There might be a way, Lu Baiwei said. When my cultivation improves, I can use the vast thousand mirror to shine. It might be possible to find some clues. If I can cultivate the 15 transformations, the heavenly, suspending, I can combine my primordial spirit with the vast thousand mirror and hang it in the air. There will be many clues. With your current speed, the 15 transformations heavenly, suspending isn't very far. You are now at the 12 transformations soul-stealing transformation. As long as you continue to cultivate, breaking through consecutively is nothing. Gu Qinsha knew that with Lu Baiwei's talent, she had activated something in her body. She was an unparalleled genius. This kind of cultivation speed wasn't something he could compare to. As he said this, his brows suddenly moved. He hurriedly waved his hand. Instantly, some of the formations in the calming immortal department moved slightly, and a gap was opened. Chila, a shadow landed. It was Leluha. He had many wounds on his body and was heavily injured. However, he still knelt down. Subordinate Yijing greets Master. Yijing, you came back from the Hell Serpent Temple? Did you bring back any treasures? Gu Qinsha waved his hand. Instantly, the innate heavenly chi turned into an auspicious cloud that enveloped Leluha. Then, it turned into rain that seeped into his body. Instantly, his damaged body recovered. Thank you, Master, for healing my injuries. Leluha, who was now Yijing, hurriedly took out a leather bag from his back. This leather bag was the size of a human head. It didn't look eye-catching. It seemed to be the skin of some animal. However, after it was opened, many lights came out. This is the sun-swallowing bash bag. Lu Baiwei was delighted. The treasure of the Hell Serpent Temple. You actually brought it out. In ancient times, there were two serpents, the Hell Serpent and the sun-swallowing bash. These two serpents had unparalleled power. This leather bag was refined from the sun-swallowing bash skin. Not only does this bag form a space of its own, it can also swallow everything. Any expert who is sucked into this bag will turn into sun-swallowing chi in no time. The fourth also praised. We're really lucky. Once, when the Imperial Army attacked, a barbarian expert opened this bag and sucked tens of thousands of the Imperial Army into it in an instant. So vicious. Gu Qinsha asked, Yijing, what other treasures did you get? I was useless, so I took this treasure back. Leluha hurriedly cowed out. This is the strongest treasure of the Hell Serpent Temple. It is usually worshipped on the altar. I thought that this treasure was the most valuable, so I took it back. However, the barbarian sacred palace received news that I had been killed by Grand Preceptor Wenhong. They wanted to send people over to take over the temple. I just happened to meet them, and they came to kill me. It wasn't easy for me to escape, so I didn't have time to take the other treasures. That's enough. The fourth chuckled. This treasure's value is equal to the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. The sun-swallowing bash bag is terrifying. Leluha, you've committed too many sins in your life. Now that you've stolen this treasure, you've made up for some of your sins. The sun-swallowing bash is an ancient fierce serpent. It's even stronger than a true dragon. Even the ancient emperor couldn't do anything to it. He could only confer it with the title of god, conferring it and the hell serpent twin serpents as fierce gods and evil gods so that they can't descend into the world with their true bodies. Lu Baiwes said, this bag was refined from a small piece of the sun-swallowing bash skin. Naturally, it's powerful. However, the best way to use it is to merge with your Dragon Gate. Combine two into one. Gu Qinsha asked. Chapter 202. There were many ancient items that had come into contact with the Dragon Gate of the Untainted Era. In the ancient Wu dynasty, there was a great emperor who specially collected many Untainted Era items and refined them. He found the items that the Dragon Gate of the Untainted Era had come into contact with and forged them into the Dragon Transformation Pagoda. Yuan Shashing found the wreckage and painstakingly refined it again, but all of it ended up benefiting Gu Qinsha. Of course, Gu Qinsha had the Sun and Moon Dragon blood, the Sun and Moon Dragon aura, and the Heavenly Sacrifice Talisman. He could do things that even the ancient immortals could not. Thus, he refined the Dragon Transformation Pagoda into the Dragon Gate. This treasure became his #1 defensive treasure. If he merged with the sun-swallowing bash pouch, then who knew how strong the Dragon Gate would become? 19th brother, I also want to see if the sun-swallowing bash pouch can increase the power of your Dragon Gate. If the Dragon Gate evolves again, will it produce pills that can increase one's talent to the level of an unparalleled genius? The fourth was also very curious. How is that possible? At most, it will increase the absorption ability and melting speed. Gu Qinsha said, for example, if I meet an expert of the Golden Dan Great Tao, their innate Gang Qi is extremely condensed. After I devour it, it will be difficult to digest. But after merging with the sun-swallowing bash pouch, it will probably be digested in an instant. It can also melt all kinds of primordial spirits and all kinds of demons. I read in the ancient books that the sun-swallowing bash can digest anything. Back in the day, there were 10 suns in the sky. An unparalleled hero shot down 9 suns, but they were all swallowed by this snake. That's how it got the name of sun-swallowing. The sun-swallowing bash and the hell snake are indeed terrifying. In the Untainted Era, they represented one of the strongest powers. This piece of skin he shed really has an unfathomable and unparalleled magical effect. Lu Baiwes said, keep it for now and refine it when the opportunity arises. To completely merge, it is not something that can be done in a day. Gu Qinsha also knew that to merge with the sun-swallowing bash pouch, he would probably need to kill a powerful expert, sacrifice the heavenly Tao, and use the sacrifice of connection to borrow the power of the heavenly Tao to perfectly merge it. Otherwise, he would not be able to use its full power. Refining this kind of magic treasure was something even the old Immortal Path experts were powerless against. He kept the swallowing Sunba serpent pouch and waved his hand. Yizheng, you are now a member of the Calming Immortal Department. From now on, you will work for the Imperial Court with all your might. Do not neglect your duties. Yes, the two Leluha knelt down. We will do our best to atone for our sins. Lu Baiwei and the fourth looked at each other. They both felt that the Tranquil Immortal Department's strength had increased once again after having Leluha. Leluha's cultivation was actually really strong, and he cultivated to the 17th transformation, Tao, splitting soul. He also stole the body of a top genius and swallowed his soul. Reaching the 18th transformation, Great Tao Golden Core, was something that was definitely going to happen. Very good. Gu Qinsha waved his hand, stepped down. From now on, you will be Long Zifei's subordinate. Yes. Leluha retreated. Our Tranquil Immortal Department has been working hard, and our strength has slowly increased. But it is still not enough. We have to defend against the 9-sword mysterious sex counterattack. Apart from that, we have to search for people with star energy reincarnations. Lu Baiwei said, We have to plan many things carefully. Right? Chunsha, are you going to head to Baoyu country to take charge of the recruitment? Recruitment is a small matter. In the past, I had to do it personally, but now Long Zaifei and Leluha are enough. Gu Chunsha had thought about it long ago. Long Yuyun will set things up outside, and the cold Jadu business is pretty much done. With Leluha there, I don't think they will be able to do anything. That's true. Long Zaifei is also at Dao Realm 8 transformation. The fourth was shocked. His improvement speed is so quick. He's like a dragon in the sky. He has resources too. He eats fire dates and purple-green immortal peaches as snacks. He also lives in the Xuanwu nest and is nourished by celestial energy. Even the 72 sects don't have such treatment. Apart from that, he has also consumed the 7 Saint Heart cultivation pill, so it would be weird if he didn't improve quickly. Lu Baiwe smiled. Chunsha treats his subordinates really well. The purplish-green immortal peaches are indeed good stuff, especially the ones that have been nourished by the immortal chi in the 19th Brother's fief. That's the real deal. This one is priceless. I reckon that even an ordinary person who doesn't know martial arts would be able to step into the Grandmaster realm after a few years of training, the fourth brother said. Give me some when the time comes. No problem. Fourth brother will just send someone to find my godson. Gu Chunsha nodded his head. This really didn't mean much to him. The Xuanwu baby had woken up and drilled into the ground to manage the nest. Its ability was several times stronger than before, and even Fa Wuxian wouldn't be able to take half a step forward. Along with the Xuanwu baby working underground, the castle would slowly turn into something like a god country. The Xuanwu god beast ability in ancient times was comparable to that of a god. Some gods might not even be its match. Its body wasn't made of flesh and blood, but it was formed by a space-time maze and some sort of law. Gu Chunsha observed its body structure and was able to comprehend some sort of supreme truth. The Xuanwu belonged to water, and its body contained the true laws of the Tao of heaven and earth. There were still many things that Gu Chunsha hadn't comprehended yet. He wanted to go back and cultivate in seclusion for 8 to 10 years, but the world was in full swing and wouldn't give him any time. Let's take this opportunity to study martial arts again, Gu Chunsha suggested. With fourth brother and Baiyue's help, I'll be able to improve very quickly. All right. The fourth nodded his head. Searching for the descendant of the demon star isn't something that can be done in a day or two. It still depends on fate and cultivation. Just as the three of them were about to cultivate again, Lu Huayue hurried in from outside. Reporting to the 3 department heads, Jean Suebua requests an audience. He says he's willing to help the calming immortal department convince the immortal Tao sections. Oh, Lu Baiwe and the other 2 frowned. What exactly is Jean Suebua trying to do? Even I don't believe that he's wholeheartedly working for the imperial court. After all, the limitless heavenly sect was exterminated by the imperial court. As an elder, he was actually rescued by seventh brother. It would be strange if he didn't want to take revenge. But after so many years, he actually hasn't done anything to harm the imperial court. I feel that he contributed greatly to us being able to gain the support of Luoxio and the other sects this time. Gu Chensh's thoughts were meticulous. Of course, he might not have any good intentions this time. It's worth thinking about the key points in making us fight against the 9 Swords mysterious gate. Even without him, we still have to subdue those second and third-rate sections. The fourth had a different opinion. We have to go against the 9 Swords mysterious gate in the end, so what he's doing isn't too much. Call him in. If he can really be used by us, it might not be a bad thing. This person is very profound. On the surface, his cultivation level isn't high, but judging from Luoxio's trust in him, he must be very powerful. Lu Baiwe waved her hand. Call him in. Not long after, Jean Suebua was brought in. He hurriedly knelt on one knee. This lowly official pays his respects to the 3 department heads. Although Mr. Jean is an official of the imperial court, and this princess has been given a token, as if I'm here in person, you should kneel. However, you were once an elder of the limitless heavenly sect and can be considered a person of the immortal Tao. In the future, there's no need to be polite. Lu Baiwe waved her hand. Etiquette can't be ignored. Jean Suebwa hurriedly said, I used to be a person of the immortal Tao, but that's all in the past. The past is fleeting. Now that I'm wholeheartedly working for the imperial court, I naturally have to abide by the rules of the imperial court at all times. As expected, Mr. Jean is a loyal official. Gu Qinsha said, Last time, you were the one who spoke up to subdue Luoxio. That's a credit to you. I'll report this to the Emperor and explain your contributions. I heard that you want to work for my Celestial Commerce Department? Royal Prince Huichun, I do want to work for the Celestial Commerce Department. This lowly official once had some reputation in the immortal Tao, and I have a few good friends. Moreover, I know a bit about the situation of the immortal Tao sections. The 72 sects of the immortal Tao are actually not a monolithic block. The other thousands of second, third, and fourth-rate sects and loose cultivators are even more complicated and chaotic. If this lowly official can use this lowly official can guarantee that he can convince over 100 sects to pay taxes for the imperial court, Jean Suebwa said. This Jean Suebwa is indeed not simple. He has some friends in the immortal Tao, but what are his intentions? If we have him, it'll probably be a bit more convenient for us to do something big. Gu Qinsha was also very tempted. The immortal Tao was complicated. He and Liu Baiyue and the fourth actually didn't have much information, so they could only use the right people. This Jean Suebwa was a suitable candidate. As expected, Liu Baiyue said, If that's the case, then I'll accept you into the Celestial Commerce Department. Tell me about your plan. I know that you said that the Luoxio and the other two sects will join the Celestial Commerce Department, but the Nine Swords Mystical Gate will definitely not let it go. What do you think we should do? She was testing Jean Suebwa by giving him a difficult problem. It's very simple. Jean Suebwa said, the Nine Swords Mystical Gates outside is Jian Changkong. This person's cultivation is profound, and he's a first-class talent. If the Nine Swords Mystical Gate is not satisfied, they'll definitely want him to carry out various tasks. In this way, there are 3 strategies: best, middle, and worst. Oh, let's hear it. Liu Baiyue's interest was piqued. The worst strategy is to deal with the situation as it comes and kill this person. Jean Suebwa stretched out a finger. This is also where the laws of the imperial court are. Those who dare to offend the heavenly might must be killed no matter how far away they are. We will use powerful means to intimidate the immortal Tao sections. However, killing to stop killing will result in a blood feud that cannot be resolved. It's not a long-term plan. What about the middle and best strategies? The fourth asked. Chapter 203. Your plan is feasible, but the immortal Tao is deeply rooted in the thinking of the imperial court. How can it be reformed? Liu Baiyue said, If it could be reformed, the emperor would have done so long ago. It wouldn't be our turn. It's easier to defeat the heavenly Tao than the human heart. The sky isn't high, but the human heart is the highest. I think it's possible. Provoke the sects to fight and kill each other to weaken their forces. We'll watch the tigers fight and clean up the mess. The fourth seemed to be recalling something. Throughout the dynasties, after the imperial court unified the world, they would use this method to deal with the sects and families of the Jianghu. Gu Qinsha's mind raced. He had recently read a lot of history and knew that the imperial court and the sects of the Jianghu fought by dividing and suppressing them, provoking internal strife, and then gradually destroying them. But now it was the immortal Tao sects, and such methods were much more difficult. It was far different from the sects of the Jianghu in the past. We can use the 3 strategies at the same time. After thinking for a long time, a determined look appeared on Gu Qinsha's face. We have to kill the diehards, then divide and sow discord. We have to rope in the sects that are close to the imperial court, such as the Heavenly Dance Mystical Sect. By the way, didn't the Heavenly Dance Mystical Sect say that they were going to pay taxes? Why hasn't there been any movement? Liu Baiyue asked. The Heavenly Dance Mystical Sect might still be observing. Jean Suebwa immediately replied, Even an ancient sect like the Heavenly Dance Mystical Sect can't be rash, or they might become the target of public criticism. Moreover, For a large sect like the Heavenly Dance Mystical Sect, it's very complicated to count their assets and personnel. It's impossible for them to register and give the secrets of the sect to the imperial court. Their sects will also be divided, and if they don't do well, they might split up and disappear. There are many such things in history. For example, the Universe Mystic Sect of the 72 ancient sects split from the Heaven and Earth Mystic Sect. Because Chang Yuzhou failed to compete for the position of sect master, he led his disciples to create the Universe Mystic Sect in a fit of anger. Gu Chensha also knew about this period of history. It was a major event in the immortal Tao mysterious sect. Since ancient times, the Black Heaven Earth sect had been ranked number 1. However, a long time ago, an outstanding disciple appeared in the sect. His name was Chang Yuzhou. Due to various reasons, he broke out of the sect and took many of the sect's elders and disciples with him to establish another cosmos sect. The Black Heaven Earth sect was actually unable to do anything to him. After this incident, the Black Heaven Earth sect went from prosperity to decline, and they were no longer able to unify the other immortal sections. This was the history recorded in the Great Immortal Tao Chronicles. If there were too many disagreements in a sect, the disciples might really break out of the sect. Jin Suebua, according to your strategy, how should you implement these 3 strategies? Lu Baiwei wanted to test Jin Suebua's intelligence. This requires specific changes. For example, the current 9 Swords Mysterious Sect can use the 2nd and 3rd strategies. The 9 Swords Mysterious Sect's Jian Shenkong is arrogant and has offended countless people. As long as I use a few tricks, coupled with the Imperial Court's coaxing and some treasures, I can get the people of the Immortal Tao to kill him. Then, the 9 Swords Mysterious Sect and the other sects will become enemies. Or we can save Jian Shenkong and subdue him. Of course, we can also cause internal strife. Jian Shenkong is not very popular in his own sect, so we can bribe people from within and force him to be disappointed in the sect. I have all of these in mind. Jin Suebua spoke frankly with assurance. I'm willing to collect all kinds of information for the Immortal Peace Department. I'll analyze all the information about the immortal Tao and human relationships, and then refine it. Very well, I'll allow you to do so. If you need anything, just give me a report. Lu Baiwei felt more and more that Jin Suebua was very useful. If she made use of him, she would be able to obtain good results. However, she still couldn't see through this person. Can Luo Xiao and the others work with me? If they make a contribution, can they also join the Immortal Peace Department? Jin Suebua said. Oh, hearing this, Lu Baiwei and the others exchanged glances again. Gu Chansha suddenly said, Jin Suebua, don't tell me you want to enter the Immortal Peace Department and slowly form a faction to absorb power. You're quite ambitious. I wouldn't dare. Jin Suebua wasn't flustered at all. I just want to work for the Imperial Court. If I have a group of people as my helpers, then I'll be even more successful. The 3 department heads are all people who do great things for the world, so they should be able to accommodate us lowly people. Ha! Lu Baiwei laughed. Jin Suebua, I'll be frank. You're very strong. I can't see through you, and you definitely have other intentions. However, we can accept all rivers into the sea and educate everyone without discrimination. The Imperial Court can also accommodate outsiders. As long as you have the ability, I can let you do things. However, I want to set an assessment. Within 3 months, if you can solve the matter of the 9 Swords Mysterious Gate without any loopholes, I'll let you form a small team in the Immortal Peace Department. Thank you, Department Head. I'll go do it now. Jin Suebua turned to leave, but suddenly stopped. All right, there's one more thing. It's a personal matter. The 7th Highness feels sorry for the 19th Highness, so he specifically asked me to apologize. He said that after attacking the Temple of Maha, the magic-breaking sword and the devil-warding immortal robe will be returned to the 19th Highness. Oh, is this to ease the relationship between the 7th Highness and me? Gu Chensh's eyes flashed. You can put it that way, Jin Suebua said. A simple apology and saying that he'll return the treasures later. That's too insincere. Lu Baiwei sneered. If the Seventh Highness is sincere, he'll come personally and return the treasures. I think he's having a hard time now. The legalists have decided not to support him. He's lost the support of a powerful saint family. In addition, his own qualifications aren't very good, so he's having trouble doing things. The Seventh Highness is still sincere. He also found out about one thing, Jean Suiwa said. This matter is enough to show his sincerity. Speak. Lu Baiwe waved her hand. Don't keep me in suspense. Yes. Jean Suiwa asked. I wonder what the 3 department heads think of Gu Tanjian. This kid is really vicious, but his talents aren't good. After getting my giant spirit ring, he has just stepped into the Tao realm. Gu Qinsha waved his hands. But if I'm not wrong, this kid should be hiding his strength. His viciousness far exceeds that of the big brother. Right, this kid's cultivation is really strong. Jean Suiwa said, he is definitely above the Tao Realm 9 transformation. Moreover, his talent is that of a true top genius. He said that he has the ancient dragon nourishing pill and the dragon creation pill. Behind him, there is a strong person plotting. What? Dragon nourishing pill? Dragon creation pill? Gu Qinsha was very clear about this. These 2 elixirs were passed down from ancient times and only existed in ancient legends. They were refined by the ancient gods by collecting the airflow in the untainted dragon gate. Since the untainted dragon gate disappeared, it could not be refined at all. Get to the point, Lu Baiwe said. What kind of person is behind that kid? He might be the reincarnation of the great spirit god. Jean Suiwa said. What? Gu Qinsha was shocked. Are you telling the truth? This is just a guess, but it is close to the truth. Jean Suiwa said. He has the great spirit god ring. That ring is formed from the bones of the great spirit god, so there are probably many secrets within. You're right. That brat looks gloomy and mysterious to me. He's definitely not an ordinary person. I'll look into your information in detail. Gu Qinsha's gaze was extremely sharp. I owe this favor to Old Seven. Although I am indebted to Seventh Prince, I am now part of the calming celestial department and will do my best for the dynasty and the 3 department heads. Jean Suiwa said. You can leave. Lu Baiwe waved his hands. Yes. Jean Suiwa didn't dare say anything else. After saying goodbye, he slowly retreated to the door and turned to leave. Qinsha, what do you think? Lu Baiwe knew that the great spirit god and Gu Qinsha had a deep grudge. She originally thought that Gu Qinsha had activated the great spirit god's bloodline, but now she understood that Gu Qinsha had obtained the sacrificial talisman. Of course, this matter will be investigated secretly. Gu Qinsha calmed down. Since the reincarnation of the great spirit god has revealed some clues, that is a good thing. I want to capture this god and let him die without a burial. Do you need our help? The 4th asked. No need. I will take care of this matter myself. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. Thank you, 4th brother. However, the calming celestial department has a lot of work to do, and we can't handle it ourselves. There is no need to be too anxious about this matter. This Jean Suiwa is not a kind person, so whether what he said is true or false is still worth considering. Next, I want to see Cole J. Du and Long Yuyun to explain the matter of recruiting the Baoyu Nation. If this task is not completed, I will always feel uneasy. I also need to arrange for people to collect information on the 72 Immortal Tao sections. Relying on Jean Suiwa alone might not be a good thing, Lu Baiwe said. There are many movements from the barbarians, so we must be on guard. At the moment, our calming celestial department is still short of manpower, so we need to recruit trustworthy disciples. The 4th said, I think Marquis Jusher's son, Shi Zhongshan, is a good candidate. Apart from him, there are many outstanding disciples like him, and they can all be recruited. I will take care of this matter. The 3 discussed for a while, then went their separate ways. Gu Qinsha naturally returned to his mansion and summoned Long Yuyun and Cole J. Du. They both had the cycle box of the Heavenly Designer Institute, so they could communicate with each other at any time. No matter where they were, they could instantly receive messages from Gu Qinsha. Moreover, they had transcendent artifacts that could fly, so they arrived in no time. After returning to his mansion, Gu Chansha observed the castle. He discovered that there were countless caves deep underground, like entangling snakes like dragons in hibernation, or like the meridians of a human body, intertwining and changing. When the black tortoise baby drilled into the ground, it actually opened up the meridians of the earth, forging the meridians and acupoints of the earth like a human. In other words, it was refining the earth under its feet into a transcendent artifact. This caused Gu Chansha to have a feeling that with the construction of the black tortoise baby, with the castle as the center, the land within a radius of 100 miles around his fief seemed to have been separated from the land of infinity by an unseen and majestic power, forming an independent paradise. This was the power of the black tortoise baby. Chapter 204. This black tortoise's nest is getting more and more wondrous. If I cultivate here and gather vital energy into my Dantian Chi Si, I'll use the dragon gate to convert it into the sun and moon dragon handle. Gu Chansha savored it carefully. He wanted to accumulate the sun and moon dragon handle. The first step was to absorb spirit energy from the void, but the downside was that the level of the dragon was too high. Even if he absorbed a large amount of spirit energy and used sun and moon refinement to extract it, he could only extract a trace. Gu Chansha originally relied on the heavenly dew to accumulate the sun and moon dragon handle. This was an energy many times stronger than spirit energy, so he never lacked nourishment for his cultivation. For example, if he were to unleash an attack and deplete his solar lunar dragon's aura, it would take him at least 10 days to half a month to replenish it just by absorbing spiritual energy. If he used up all the sun and moon dragon handle, it would take him 2 to 3 years to replenish it. This was because spirit chi was simply too low level for him. It was like a martial Tao grandmaster eating rice. How much would he have to eat to replenish his nutrition? But without the heavenly dew, if he could only absorb spirit energy, the effect would be much weaker. Fortunately, he could absorb immortal energy in the black tortoise's nest. Immortal energy was a much higher level than spirit energy, and ordinary experts couldn't refine it. But Gu Chansha's strength had improved greatly, and after cultivating innate earth energy, he could refine immortal energy. That wasn't all. He had obtained the Great God Slaughter art and Great God Devouring art from Lu Baiwei. These two arts were supreme wisdom, understanding the secrets of the universe. At the same time, they used the supreme energy circulation formula to open up the vast dimensions and absorb higher energy from higher dimensions. This completely overturned the immortal Tao and could be said to have a fundamental understanding of the universe, space-time, and all sorts of things. It was a supreme art that far surpassed the saints. In the past, Gu Chansha's talent wasn't good enough, so he couldn't understand it. Now that he was a genius, he had some understanding of the Great God Slaughter art and God Devouring art. Although he couldn't use all kinds of formulas and symbols to construct spiritual frequencies and sense many dimensions like Lu Baiwei, his understanding of energy was completely different. He could quickly refine the divine energy for his own use. He took a deep breath, and the surging immortal energy flowed into his dantian. In the depths of his dantian, within the dragon gate, the sun and moon dragon repulse turned into a furnace, spinning nonstop. As soon as the immortal energy entered the furnace, it was digested and converted into the sun and moon dragon repulse. As the dragon gate had refined the sea-carrying gourd, it could absorb a huge amount of sun and moon dragon aura. After cultivating with Lu Baiwei, with the help of her god-slaying chi, Gu Chansha had already filled up the dragon gate. However, he had to constantly use the sun and moon dragon's repulse to nourish the king dragon armor and the demon subduing blade. Hence, he had to constantly replenish them. The power contained in this sun swallowing boss serpent pouch is too mysterious. I still can't comprehend it thoroughly. It's a pity that I don't have a powerful soul as a sacrifice. Otherwise, if I refined it into the dragon gate, I would be able to increase my combat power and cultivation. Gu Chunsha took out the sun-swallowing boss serpent pouch and looked at it carefully. He injected the sun and moon dragon repulse to test its reaction. However, the injected sun and moon dragon repulse was like a stone sinking into the ocean. There was no reaction at all. All right, why don't I ask the black tortoise baby? This baby's strength is far above mine. The refining method comes from the memory of an ancient divine beast. It surpasses the mystic gate of 10,000 treasures. Maybe it can teach me. Gu Chensha immediately called the black tortoise baby. Rumble. On the altar in the study, the black tortoise baby crawled out and bounced around like a puppy. What's the matter? This is the skin of the sun-swallowing boss serpent. It still has the aura of the dragon gate. I want to eat it. I want to eat it. Hurry up and let me eat it. It came over and rubbed its head against Gu Chencha's body. It looked at the sun-swallowing boss serpent pouch eagerly. Its saliva was about to drip down. You can't eat this. I want to meld it into the dragon gate to increase my strength. Gu Chensha hurriedly said, I wanted to ask you, how do you refine these two? Gu Chensha hurriedly rejected. He knew that as long as it was a treasure, the black tortoise baby could eat and digest it. In the black tortoise baby's body, there were many spatial fluctuations. It could shatter any natural treasure and turn it into something useful. I want to eat this dragon gate too. The black tortoise baby looked at Gu Chensha and spat out the dragon gate. Good stuff, good stuff. Who knows how many ancient items form the core? It also contains the aura of the dragon gate. Gu Chensha didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He patted the black tortoise baby's head. My meat is more delicious. Do you want to eat it? All right. The black tortoise baby sniffed, and its saliva dripped onto the ground. It smells so good. Such delicious meat. Pa! Gu Chensha fiercely patted the black tortoise baby's head. It's so delicious. I think sooner or later you will be stuffed to death. The black tortoise baby lowered its head and whined. If you don't want to eat it, then don't eat it. Why did you hit me? All right, stop fooling around. How do I refine the sun-swallowing bash sack into the dragon gate? Gu Chensha hurriedly injected some sun and moon dragon handle into it to comfort it. Delicious. After absorbing some sun and moon dragon handle, the black tortoise baby suddenly became spirited. It suddenly sucked in the dragon gate and the sun-swallowing bash sack. Why did you still eat them? Gu Chensha was shocked. He almost wanted to dig the two treasures out of the black tortoise baby's mouth. Father, don't be anxious. The black tortoise baby laughed. I am merging these two treasures for Father. If it was someone else, they wouldn't be able to merge them. But in the memories of the black tortoise, there is the legacy of the dragon gate. Father wants to turn this treasure into a replica of the dragon gate. It will have a portion of its abilities. In the black tortoise baby's stomach, it was like porridge was being cooked. The earth, water, fire, and wind were being rebuilt. Gu Chensha hurriedly injected the sun and moon dragon handle to strengthen it. The black tortoise baby shook its head, and its body became much bigger. It suddenly roared, and a purple space opened up above its head. Immortal energy poured down like a waterfall and fused into its body. After a day and night, it suddenly spat out the dragon gate. The sun-swallowing bash sack had already disappeared. Gu Chensha saw that the dragon gate had undergone a fundamental change. Not only did it have an ancient, desolate aura, there seemed to be a mysterious power swallowing and absorbing it. It could swallow everything. It seemed like the sun-swallowing bash was hiding inside. The sun-swallowing bash is very strong. It is almost the same as us four symbols divine beasts. Its greatest ability is to swallow and digest. This is also the aura that came from the dragon gate. The black tortoise baby seemed very satisfied. I also obtained some of its abilities. Haha. As it spoke, it burrowed underground again. It seemed to have obtained many benefits from the refining process. It was afraid that Gu Chensha would punish it, so it hid. Gu Chensha smiled and swallowed the dragon gate into his stomach. He circulated his earth energy to refine it and observe its abilities. As soon as he did so, He was shocked to find that the dragon gate's swallowing power seemed to have increased several times after merging with the sun-swallowing bash sack. Roar. He activated his ability to absorb spiritual energy. Immediately, with him as the center, the void around him opened up. Countless spiritual energy was sucked out. The speed at which the spiritual energy was absorbed was as fast as a sharp arrow shooting into his body. All his pores were absorbing spiritual energy, and it was very powerful. All the power came from the dragon gate deep in his Dantian sea of qi. When the dragon gate was activated, it was like a huge black hole, causing the innate earth energy in Gu Chencha's body to speed up and have more devouring power. Endless spiritual energy was sucked out from the void in an instant. It brewed in the depths of the dragon gate, shattered, and turned into innate earth energy. After it was full, it was compressed again, turning into spirit liquid. Then, it was compressed again into spirit crystals. The heavenly dragon spirit gathering flag can turn spiritual qi into spirit liquid. It's already a rare treasure. My dragon gate can actually absorb spiritual qi and turn it into spirit liquid before crystallizing. Gu Qinsha was overjoyed. What a powerful devouring ability and compression ability. Under his careful observation, the newly refined dragon gate had many functions and was really strong. Not to mention the storage space within. The sun-swallowing bash sack was the Hell Snake God Temple's sect-protecting treasure, and it had its own space. There were many mysteries within, and after the Xuanwu baby refined it, it had many more functions. Now, the space within the dragon gate had expanded by several times, and the amount of sun and moon dragon energy it could store had increased by several times. Moreover, the quality of the dragon pellet was much higher. Although it couldn't form a dragon pellet and turn one into a top genius, one would still be a top genius. Geniuses were also split into different grades. Some were weaker, and some were really strong. For example, although those top geniuses weren't as strong as true geniuses, they were still really terrifying. After merging with the sun-swallowing bash sack, the overall strength of the dragon gate has increased by several times. With my current strength, I won't care about anyone below 18 Dao Realm transformation. Even 18 Dao Realm transformation won't be able to do anything to me. Gu Qinsha calculated, I am now at peak Dao Realm transformation 7. If I rely on the strength of the dragon gate, I can light up the Samadhi true flame. But after all, I am relying on treasures, and it isn't good for my future cultivation. I need to rely on my own strength, and will to use the sun and moon dragon energy to form the Samadhi true flame. That is my true cultivation. The stronger the technique, the harder it was to improve it, unless one had super talent to use it. The Son of Heaven God sealing technique was something that only the Son of Heaven could use. Even saints could barely use it, and even top geniuses couldn't. Gu Qinsha was a true genius, and the reason why he was able to cultivate to this point was because he used Lu Baiyue's God slaughtering energy. Of course, with his comprehension of the great slaughtering God technique, the sun and moon dragon energy became more agile. Now that he was using the dragon gate, it was easy for him to raise it to 8 transformation Samadhi true flame. But if he didn't use the dragon gate, it would be tough to raise it, and he wouldn't be able to break through that bottleneck. Master, Long Yiyun and Jade Frosty are here, and they are waiting for you outside. Yiming walked in. Do you want to meet them? Okay, I will head out now. Gu Qinsha nodded his head. With a thought, he appeared in the meeting hall. Chapter 205. Now that the castle had been modified by the Black Tortoise baby and turned into the Black Tortoise's nest, the 9 magic treasures had also become incomparably mysterious. The mountain and sea diagram itself contained an array formation that could shift, confuse, and trap. If he was in the castle, Gu Qinsha could use the mountain and ocean diagram to teleport to any place in the castle. When he fought, enemies wouldn't even be able to touch his clothes. Moreover, apart from the mountain and ocean diagram, there were 8 other treasures. Even Fa Wuxian wouldn't be able to do anything if he entered the castle now. Greetings, King. Cold J-Du and Long Yuyun were drinking tea. When they saw Gu Qinsha appear, they all knelt down on one knee. Long Yuyun was the first to say, "Congratulations, King. The news of you killing the Lightning Beast King has spread all over the world. This isn't a good thing." Gu Qinsha waved his hands. "All of you get up. In the future, there is no need to be so polite. I called all of you over to recruit Long Zifei." Behind him is Yi Zheng, who is at the 17 transformation Dao realm splitting soul clone. He is La, the original Hell Serpent God Temple sect leader. "My brother told me about this," Long Yiyun hurriedly said. "However, for something as important as enlistment, it would be better for your highness to go personally. For the Treasure Jade Nation, there needs to be an important figure there to pacify the people. Only then will the imperial court take this matter seriously. If your highness doesn't go, the people will think that the imperial court isn't taking this matter seriously enough." "I know that." Gu Qinsha obviously knew that. "It isn't that I don't want to go, but you have to start the recruitment process first. Once everything is done, I will calm the people down. Otherwise, if I go first, I will become the center of attention. People will target me and plot against me. I am not afraid of assassination, but I am afraid that it will affect the overall situation. If I don't go, then those plots won't work. All of you are the stones I use to test the waters. Your Highness's foresight is admirable." Yu Hanlu nodded. "These days, Yiyun and I have been working hard to win over the ministers of the Baoyu country. However, the Crown Prince seemed to have lost his mind and refused to offer amnesty. After being instigated by Tai fantasy sect, not only that, a group of envoys from the Great Wei dynasty came to the Crown Prince's mansion. Not long ago, my father even received them. I know all this information." Gu Qinsha said, "It is precisely because of this that I cannot go for the time being. Otherwise, due to the instigation of the immortal Dao and the Great Might dynasty, the precious Jade Nation's etiquette is lacking. Neglecting me is a small matter, but shaming the imperial court is a big matter. When the news reaches the imperial court will lose face, and they will truly use force. Even I cannot stop them." Gu Qinsha was not an ordinary person. He had calculated everything. He represented the imperial court to offer amnesty. That wasn't an individual action, but a collective action. He had to bring a large group, and Baoyu country had to try their best to welcome him. They had to put up a good front for the world to see. But Baoyu country wasn't unified, and if there were problems with etiquette, the imperial court would lose face. When the time came, he wouldn't be able to protect them. This was why he had to settle everything before he could head over. If not, it would be too rash, and if something happened, it would be hard to salvage the situation. He would also be attacked in the imperial court. Although he was doted on, if he didn't do well and lost the face of the imperial court, Heaven Talisman Emperor wouldn't be able to protect him in front of everyone. He had to plan this matter to the best of his abilities. With Leluha at the 17th Dao realm transformation, our combat strength should be enough. Yuanlu thought about it for a moment and praised Gu Qinsha for being so calculative and not being rash at all. Also, you have to be on guard against one thing, and that is that Leluha once refined the unparalleled genius Li Yaoyang of the profound gate of Heavy Sunday. We have to prevent the profound gate of Heavy Sun from finding an excuse, so I will order it to disguise its identity. Gu Qinsha even considered this. Great Wei Dynasty's matter isn't simple, and we have to treat it seriously. The two of you need to increase your strength to be able to do things better. Now focus. Yes. The two of them sat cross-legged. Gu Qinsha opened his hands, and instantly, the sun and moon dragon energy surged out from his palms. It turned into a giant furnace and wrapped the two of them within. This was the sun and moon furnace of the sun and moon refinement. It used one's own Sciention energy as a furnace to refine and shape everything. The two of them were wrapped up in the furnace and were instantly covered. Huge amounts of energy drilled into their bodies and even started to refine their treasures. Long Yiyun's treasure was the Dragon Bone Sword, while Yu Hanlu's treasure was the Jade God's Eye. Gu Chensha had previously used the heavenly dew to strengthen their treasures. Now, he was using the sun and moon dragon energy. The heavenly dew was not as good as the sun and moon dragon blood, and the sun and moon dragon blood was not as good as the sun and moon dragon energy. Even if a strand of the sun and moon dragon energy was injected into an ordinary sword, the sword would immediately become an immortal flying sword. Kacha Kacha, Long Yuyun's dragon bone sword, and Yu Hanlu's jade gods, I released thousands of rays of light. The blood in their bodies also circulated and resonated with each other. After a full 2 hours, Gu Chensha dispersed the sun and moon furnace. The two of them landed on the ground and felt as if there was an endless amount of energy in their bodies. All right, I've cleansed you two once again. At the same time, I've upgraded your treasures once more. Your strength has increased by many times. In the future, there will be even more benefits when you train hard. Gu Chensha instructed. Thank you, Your Highness. The two of them were overjoyed. Things must be done well. Don't be too hasty. Gu Chensha warned. If you encounter anything difficult to decide, you must inform me immediately. Yes. The two of them nodded and left. The two of them were also powerful figures. Gu Chensha was at ease when it came to handling matters. After sending the two of them off, Gu Chensha's body moved. He left the castle and went to the east side of the fief. The east side was in the shape of an azure dragon. It was surrounded by mountains and lush green. This was a palace built according to the azure dragon pattern. It was the branch of the myriad treasures mysterious sect that Bao Ming had established. The south side of the fief was the vermilion bird pattern. It was Lao Wu's branch. Of course, although these two patterns were the azure dragon and the vermilion bird, there were no divine beasts presiding over them. They could only absorb the aura of the black tortoise's nest. Even so, they benefited greatly. Bao Ming often trained here. Gu Chensha had come to find her because he wanted to spy on the Great Wei dynasty. At the same time, he wanted to see if he could find an opportunity to recruit this girl for his own use. He had just arrived at the door when a voice sounded. Is this Brother Chensha? Come in and talk. A stream of innate gang chi turned into a bridge and led him into the palace. This Bao Ming's cultivation is also profound. She has hidden many things. But no matter how high her cultivation is, she is no match for me. Gu Chensha calculated every step in his mind. In the palace, Bao Ming was indeed breathing in and out. She seemed to have comprehended a mysterious art. Gu Chensha landed in front of her. She stood up and looked him up and down. I didn't expect your cultivation to be so strong. You killed the Thunder Beast King. Even I couldn't do anything to this demon, and you killed it so easily. Not at all. I relied on the Dragon Gate. Gu Chensha smiled. He opened his mouth and spat out the Dragon Gate. Bao Ming looked shocked as he swallowed it. You actually turned the Dragon Transformation Tower into the Dragon Gate. Bao Ming was extremely shocked. No wonder. I felt something was wrong when you killed the Thunder Marshal Shah. If it was the Dragon Transformation Tower, you couldn't have done that with your cultivation. But you didn't come here to show off to me, did you? Of course not. Gu Chensha smiled. I came here to discuss something important with you. How is the internal affairs of the myriad treasures mysterious gate? Is there a possibility of paying taxes to the calming celestial bureau? Impossible. Bao Ming waved her hand. Don't think about it. With your intelligence, you don't think it's possible. Indeed, Gu Chensha smiled bitterly and cupped his hands. What does Sister Ming think about me trying to recruit the Baoyu nation? With brother's current cultivation, it's a piece of cake. Bao Ming lowered her eyes. I heard that brother used Lu Baiyue's power to subdue Lulha of the Hell Serpent Temple and let him steal the sun-devouring bash pouch. This pouch contains the skin of the sun-devouring bash. It also has the aura of the prehistoric Dragon Gate. It seems that brother used the power of the black tortoise to refine this treasure into the Dragon Gate. Sister is really well informed. Gu Chensha was shocked. However, in the process of recruiting the Baoyu nation, I'm afraid there will be a conflict with you. What? Bao Ming's eyes lit up. How is the Baoyu nation related to me? Sigh. Gu Qinsha sighed. Should I call you the Lord of the Baoyu Nation or something else? You. Bao Ming-er's Xiantian Gang Qi was about to explode, but she suppressed it. It seems that you know about it. Lu Baiwei must have told you. How are you going to deal with me? That's too harsh. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. I don't want to be enemies with Sister Ming-er. What do you think? If you need my Dragon Gate, I can lend it to you. However, I can't give it to you because I have many enemies. You are so kind. Bao Ming-er smiled. If I remember correctly, I once placed a mysterious restriction on your Dragon Transformation Pagoda. You immediately discovered it and used an extremely powerful method to refine it. However, you did not do anything and continued to pretend to be courteous with me. You're also a scheming person. Are you trying to use me now? Sister, you must be joking. Gu Qinsha smiled bitterly. As the Lord of the Baoyu Nation, you hold great power and manage billions of subjects. You can do anything you want. If I say that I am using you, how arrogant would I be? I just don't want to be enemies. Otherwise, I wouldn't say it now. Chapter 206. Bao Ming, and Gu Qinsha were at each other's throats. Their tone was tense, and a fight could break out at any moment. It's true that we serve our own masters, but I feel that the Great Wei dynasty does not necessarily have to conquer the Divine Prefecture. We, the Yonko, will also not conquer the Yonko. We can trade with each other, merge, and become one. There will be no distinction between us, and the world will be united. Isn't that great? The two sides will kill each other, and the people will suffer. That is not what you want. Gu Qinsha tried his best to persuade her. Naive. Bao Ming-er laughed coldly. Since ancient times, kindness does not command armies, righteousness does not do business, and benevolence does not govern. When two countries fight, there will always be killing. You are familiar with history. There are thousands of small countries in the Divine Prefecture. Divided for a long time, united for a long time, divided for a long time. Even when the Heavenly Talisman Emperor conquered the world, did he not kill? Even if that's the case, we can still deal with it. Gu Qinsha spoke frankly with assurance. Actually, I really can't feel any hostility towards you, sister. I think that elder sister does not really have absolute power in the Great Wei dynasty. The matters of the court are the court's, and our relationship is personal. Actually, I can see that elder sister is not pursuing the strengthening of the dynasty, but her own longevity. To be honest, a person's life is extremely short. Even with the glass jade body, it is only 300 years, and with the golden Dan of the Great Path, it is 1,000 years. I don't think sister has cultivated the golden Dan of the Great Path. Could it be that you can improve my talent? Bao Ming-er looked at Gu Qinsha. However, even if your Dragon Gate merges with the sun-swallowing serpent pouch, it can only create the dragon-raising pill, which can turn people into geniuses. It cannot be an unparalleled prodigy. I know someone who has the dragon-making pill. Gu Qinsha looked closely at Bao Ming-er and was very sincere. I think sister's talent is already at the peak of genius. Actually, you're only a step away from being an unparalleled prodigy. If you can obtain a dragon-making pill, you can immediately become an unparalleled prodigy. Oh, you're not using me again, are you? Bao Ming-er frowned. You can't be easily trusted. You look honest on the surface, but you are actually very cunning. Sister, you must be joking. I just want to improve our relationship through cooperation. Even enemy countries have trade relations, not to mention you and me. Gu Qinsha was not angry from beginning to end. His temper was as calm as an ancient well, clear, gentle, and had his own bearing. Then tell me, where can I find the dragon creation pill? Bao Ming-er asked. Sister, what do you think of the Great Spirit God? Gu Qinsha asked instead of answering. The Great Spirit God is not the strongest among the ancient gods, but he is the most cunning. Bao Ming-er is said seriously. He was a cultivator in the Untainted Age. He also obtained some things from the Untainted Dragon Gate, which greatly increased his lifespan. Later, he assisted an ancient emperor and obtained the position of god. This god also had a temple in our Dawei dynasty. Some people worshipped it and receive a response. However, the incense was cut off more than 10 years ago, but he seems to have reappeared in the world recently. Moreover, he has supported an agent, and that agent has the dragon creation pill in his hands, Gu Chunsha said. As expected, Bao Ming'er stretched out her finger and pointed. You still want to use me? If my guess is correct, that person should be your enemy. Tell me, who is it? My big brother, Gu Hongsha's son, Gu Tanjian. Gu Qinsha did not hide anything. Sister, you can investigate. This person was originally of above-average talent, but now he has become an unparalleled genius. Is there such a thing? Bao Ming'er was shocked. This person is also in my intelligence reports. He is sinister and has average talent. How did he become an unparalleled genius without anyone knowing? Gu Qinsha smiled and did not answer. He knew that Bao Ming'er would definitely find out for herself. As expected, Bao Ming'er seemed to have activated some kind of talisman. The talisman flashed, and after a while, she nodded. Indeed, this is strange. I've told you a big secret. At least I am showing some sincerity. Gu Qinsha knew that the great spirit god was not to be trifled with. Bao Ming'er had a powerful background, so why not use the dragon creation pill and the dragon raising pill as bait to lure the tiger to devour the wolf, beating the grass to the grass and alerting the snake. Once the big fish, the great spirit god, appeared, he would then take advantage of the situation. What kind of sincerity is this? Bao Ming'er pouted. The great spirit god is not to be trifled with. Are you asking me to test him? That is part of my intention, but it is more about working together. Look, we are working very well together. Gu Chunsha pointed at the fief outside. Look, my fief is becoming more and more prosperous. With the black tortoise's nest as the foundation, I gather all sorts of resources in the wilderness and make all sorts of pills. I think the Great Wei dynasty needs these things too. I could sign a trade agreement with you. With your strength and management, can't you benefit the people of both dynasties? What the Great Wei dynasty lacks, our Yanko has. What the Yanko lacks, the Great Wei dynasty also has. Now that we're trying to establish trade, both of us can immediately develop and grow. I think with your foresight, it is impossible for you to not see this business opportunity. Bao Ming'er fell silent. She was indeed thinking of a feasible plan. Anyone could see that if they could really establish trade, she and Gu Chunsha would benefit greatly. Her fief in the Great Wei dynasty had hundreds of millions of people. It consumed a lot and required a lot of resources. At the same time, it was a huge market. Moreover, with Gu Qinsha's methods combined with hers, it was not impossible for them to create a holy land of trade here. In short, putting aside the conflicts between countries, if we work together, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. Gu Qinsha saw that Bao Ming'er was a little tempted and quickly added fuel to the fire. I can also help you advance in the Great Wei dynasty and seize more power. Think about it. My Dragon Gate, as long as it can absorb enough Xiantian Gangqi, experts' primordial spirits, blood essences, and even various ancient magical items, it can produce a dragon pill, which is similar to the ancient dragon raising pill. It can raise a person to become a genius. With such a treasure, I can train many subordinates for you. That's not all. I also have a large number of tiger wolf pills. I know that you have tiger wolf pills, but I have my doubts as to how many you have. Tiger wolf pills can train talented generals. If I have a large number of these pills, I can save a lot of trouble in my fief. Bao Ming was indeed tempted by the pill. Tiger wolf pills could directly raise a person's aptitude to mid-level, giving them the nature of a tiger and wolf. This was a talented general who could govern a county and lead thousands of troops. As for high-grade aptitude, it was a talented general who could govern a province or a prefecture and be a governor with ease. Even with the prosperity of the great Yanko court, it was impossible for all the county magistrates to be mid-level talented generals. Actually, most of the local officials were mediocre. Occasionally, there would be one or two talented generals who would be promoted long ago. If all the local officials were talented generals, then the world would be at least 10 times more prosperous. Whether it was Gu Chunsha or Bao Ming'er, They both knew that governing the world depended mainly on the county magistrate. The so-called county magistrate was the Marquis of the 100 Li, who governed the people. Only after being trained with tiger wolf pills could they be fully competent and develop. I can provide a large number of tiger wolf pills for you, sister. Gu Qinsha did not beat around the bush. If the two of us work together and open up trade between the Great Wei dynasty and the Great Yonko dynasty, we can also act as a link and improve the friendship between the two dynasties. Think about it. Even if the Great Wei dynasty wanted to take over the Divine Prefecture, it would not be easy. With the strength of the Great Yonko, if the two fought, you would probably suffer a great loss. Is this a blessing for the country? Sister is loyal to the country for the sake of the people, not for the ambition of a certain person. What you say makes sense. Bao Ming sat down again, her tone much warmer. I've observed your words and actions. You're not an ambitious person. What are your thoughts now? Let's work together and turn this fief into a holy land of commerce. Here, anything can be bought. Even the people of the immortal Tao have to come here to do business. Gu Qinsha said, You're quite ambitious. This is a matter of heavenly law. Bao Ming said, The ancient emperor's heavenly sacrificial talisman was just like that. With this talisman, one can communicate with the heavens. After the sacrifice, one can exchange their soul for anything. Indeed, Gu Qinsha nodded. Of course, this matter needs to be discussed at length. Also, I have another question. Is the envoy from the Great Wei dynasty related to you? That has nothing to do with me. It's the other dragon master, Gu Hua. He's a genius of the Great Wei dynasty that hasn't appeared in 1,000 years. In other words, he's an unparalleled genius. His talent is no less than that of your subordinate, Long Zifei. His cultivation is far above mine, and he's cultivated to the golden Dan of the Great Tao. However, he's been hiding in Baoyu country, not showing himself. He's just waiting for you to walk into his trap. Bao Ming finally revealed the important information. What? Gu Qinsha was shocked. The Great Wei dynasty sent someone like that for Baoyu country? If he's at the level of a golden Dan of the Great Tao, then even if I sent Laha from the Church of the Prison God, he wouldn't be a match for him. I'm afraid they'll all be wiped out. Gu Hua is not an ordinary person. He created the 9 calamities transformation technique and combined it with thousands of martial arts techniques. He observed the disasters in the world and suddenly comprehended it. Speaking of which, it was due to the changes in the world. Black Chi swallowed the sun, the sky split, and the demon star descended. He observed the disasters and suddenly perfected his self-created technique, finally reaching the golden Dan of the Great Tao. Bao Ming smiled faintly. So it won't be easy for you to recruit the Baoyu country. Your opponent is someone like F.A. Wuxian. An unparalleled genius is fine. He's not as scary as F.A. Wuxian. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. Right. Does the Great Wei dynasty have any natural-born saints? Yes. Bao Ming nodded. Who is it? Gu Qinsha hurriedly asked. Our emperor, the Black-Yellow Dragon Emperor, Gu Xianwang. Bao Ming said. Shoo. Gu Qinsha let out a long sigh when he heard this. That's good. It's normal for a natural-born saint to be the emperor of the Great Wei dynasty. Originally, I wouldn't have told you this information. However, you specifically came to find me today. Your tone was sincere, and it seemed interesting. You didn't plot against me, so I returned the favor, Bao Ming said. Thank you, sister. Gu Qinsha bowed deeply. Bao Ming's information had helped him avoid a disaster. Chapter 207. Gu Qinsha broke out in a cold sweat at the thought of it. Who would have thought that a person like Gu Hua would appear in the Great Wei dynasty's diplomatic party in precious Jade country? And he had done it quietly, especially when he had comprehended his own martial arts, the 9 disasters. It was only when the black gas swallowed the sun, the heavens and earth shook, and the demon star descended that he had comprehended it to perfection. From this, it could be seen that this person carried the mandate of heaven and was no ordinary person. How could such a person be so easy to deal with? Why does the Great Wei dynasty place so much importance on precious jade country? Gu Qinsha frowned. We need to set up a very large matrix. Actually, Dragon Sword Island, Ocean Rock Island, Treasure Jade Nation, and many other islands were all connected in ancient times. They communicated with each other at the bottom of the sea and contained a huge amount of energy, especially Treasure Jade Nation, which is the core of the formation. Treasure Jade Nation has a jade mine at the bottom of the sea. If we make use of it, we can build a huge teleportation formation that can continuously transport the armies of the Great Prestige Dynasty over. We can occupy the sea and use it as a springboard to invade the Divine Prefecture. We can occupy the seas and use it as a springboard to invade the Divine Prefecture. I see. There are jade mines everywhere in precious jade country. In the depths of the sea, there are ancient jade mines that have yet to be mined. I heard that the reason they cannot be mined is because they are guarded by jade spirits. Gu Qinsha had done a lot of research on precious jade country. In the depths of the precious jade country, there was an almost endless amount of jade, or it had been formed since ancient times. Because the jade or itself contained a lot of spiritual energy, jade spirits were born over time, which are also known as jade demons and jade souls. Stones could be cultivated into demons, and jade mines were even easier to cultivate. Because of the jade demon's protection, it was very difficult for humans to mine. This time, the Great Wei dynasty wanted to use all the energy in the mines to transform them into a transportation matrix. The Great Wei dynasty could not attack the Divine Prefecture because they were too far away. They needed a springboard, such as the wilderness or the many countries overseas. If you tell me, won't you ruin the Great Wei dynasty's plans? Gu Qinsha asked Bao Ming. It's very simple. I'm working with you now, but I don't like that Gu Hua. That person thinks he's talented and doesn't take me seriously. Moreover, I don't agree with his methods. He's an ambitious person. If he can gain power, it won't be a blessing for our great prestige empire. Bao Ming flicked her fingers. I've told you everything. With this information, you'll be able to gain the upper hand in the battle against Gu Hua. It seems like I have to change my plan. I will secretly go to the precious Jade Nation and fight with that Gu Hua. I want to see what he is capable of. Gu Qinsha, on the other hand, was filled with lofty sentiments. His Dragon's Gate had merged with the swallowing Sun Bashi pouch, and his cultivation had soared. It was just the right time to test it out on an expert. Normal experts were no match for him. Only Dao Realm 18 Transformation Golden Dan Great Path experts could challenge him. I think you should be careful. That Gu Hua isn't a monster like Lei Wuxia. Even dozens of Lei Wuxia wouldn't be his match. Bao Ming immediately said, moreover, once you reach the Golden Dan Great Path, be it Sentient Earth Energy or Spiritual Will, they will all transform. You can't be so rash. I'm afraid that even if I don't go and find him, he will come and find me. Gu Qinsha calculated carefully. He had obtained the Buzhou Dao, and his Sentient Earth Energy could even form the Zhou Qiani, which was the best at calculating. That's true. Your reputation has spread. Killing Lei Wuxia and the 3 barbarian kings has made you a thorn in the side of the barbarian race and the monster race. The key is that you subdued Luluha and stole the swallowing Sun Bashi pouch. That is a huge blow to the barbarian race. Bao Ming said also that Gu Hua might be colluding with people from the imperial court. You have to be careful. Colluding? Gu Qinsha thought for a moment. Then it is most likely my big brother. He used to be a feudal lord guarding the sea region. Now, he has been reprimanded by Imperial Father and is studying in seclusion. In that case, that Gu Tanjian might also be colluding with Gu Hua. I can't believe these two things are actually linked together. Bao Ming frowned. That's true. If the Great Spirit God is manipulating the world from behind, the Baoyu Nation and the overseas nations are important pawns. In that case, it is even more meaningful for us to work together. Gu Qinsha suddenly asked, Sister, do you have the Heavenly Dragon Soul Gathering Flag? Actually, this was the main reason he had come to find Bao Ming this time. The Heavenly Dragon Soul Gathering Flag was the Great Wei Dynasty's ritual treasure. It was also the flag of the imperial court. Gu Qinsha did not want this treasure. He wanted the emperor's aura on it. It could be said that even if Bao Ming was 1,000 times more powerful, she would not use the emperor's aura on it. It was a waste. It was better to give it to him as a sacrifice. Then, he could reveal the later moves of the emperor's god-sealing technique. He now knew 4 moves of the emperor's god-sealing technique: sun and moon refining, sun and moon change, sun and moon slaying, and sun and moon dragon. According to the ancient records, there was the sun and moon talisman, sun and moon sacrifice, sun and moon sky, sun and moon god, sun and moonlight, and sun and moon path. Sun and moon shine together were these 10 moves. Once this move was mastered, one would be as glorious as the sun and moon. Their light would shine through the ages, and they could defeat many powerful beings in the world. Of course, I have this flag. I use it to command the army. Bao Ming said, "What do you want this for? Do you want to gather spirit chi and turn it into spirit liquid? No need. Your Dragon Gate's absorption ability is 1,000 times that of the heavenly dragon soul gathering flag. Not only can it condense spirit liquid, but it can also be compressed into spirit crystals. The sun-swallowing bash pouch also has the ability to absorb spirit chi. Once it is opened, it can liquefy spirit chi into a stream. I have my own use for it. Right, I got 18 heavenly dragon soul gathering flags from Prince Gu. How about I give them to you, sister?" Gu Qinsha smiled. "All right." Bao Ming wanted to see what Gu Qinsha was up to. She waved her hand, and a total of 108 heavenly dragon soul gathering flags flew out from the depths of the palace. They were much larger than Prince Gu's, and their power was different. She was the Dragon Lord. She was 3 ranks higher than Prince Gu. Naturally, the heavenly dragon soul gathering flags in her hands were more powerful than Prince Gu's. Gu Qinsha waved his hand, and a total of 108 earth chi swept up the flags. Then, the Dragon Gate moved and swallowed them all. After 3 breaths, he spat them out. The flags had been refined by the Dragon Gate, and they shone even more brightly. However, he had already stripped away the Emperor's aura on them. Now, his cultivation was different from before. He had a deep understanding of the Emperor's aura. As long as he activated the Sun and Moon Dragon's aura, he could absorb the Emperor's aura through the air. He could even gather people and perform a sacrifice to gather the Emperor's aura. However, this was suspected of treason. The Emperor's aura was instantly extracted and thrown into the Sun and Moon altar. Gu Qinsha used his innate earth chi to start the sacrifice. On the Sun and Moon altar, there was a huge mass of Emperor's aura rolling. It was colorful and constantly changing, as if it was evolving into all living beings. Gu Qinsha analyzed the Emperor's aura with a frown. He felt that this aura was extremely mysterious and had endless changes. No spiritual chi, immortal chi, or dragon chi could compare to it. However, he could not absorb it at all, nor could he use it. However, when he thought about it carefully, he felt that this Emperor's aura was connected to his clumsy fist. The Emperor's aura was extracted from the ignorant people of the world, and his clumsy fist was also the foundation of the ignorant people of the world. After thinking for a while, Gu Qinsha knew that his cultivation was too low to understand the mystery of the Emperor's aura. Therefore, he started the sacrifice. In the Sun and Moon altar, the moment the Emperor's aura was sacrificed, countless images were immediately transmitted into Gu Qinsha's mind. Immediately, the Sun and Moon talisman and the Sun and Moon sacrificial rite appeared in Gu Qinsha's mind. Of these 2 moves, the Sun and Moon talisman was formed by all kinds of runes, profound and unfathomable. On the other hand, the Sun and Moon sacrificial rite was a sacrificial art. As long as one had the Emperor's aura, they would not need any materials and could transform at will to obtain what they needed. Of course, the Sun and Moon sacrificial rite also had other arts that could communicate with the heavenly Tao. Amazing, amazing. Gu Qinsha obtained these 2 moves in an instant. He was now a genius, and his comprehension ability was much higher than before. He immediately sensed the subtlety of the two moves and compared it with the great massacre divine art. He felt that no matter what kind of strange ideas he had, he wouldn't be able to create these two moves. Of course, he wasn't talking about the two moves, but the great massacre divine art. Based on his intuition, he found that the great massacre divine art could subtly suppress the Emperor's god-sealing art. Who knew how the Heaven Talisman Emperor created it? No matter what, he had two more moves of the Emperor's god-sealing art, the Sun and Moon Talisman and Sun and Moon Sacrificial Rite. His cultivation had improved greatly, and he was even more confident that he would be able to reach the Tao Realm 8 transformation Samadhi True Flame without relying on the Dragon Gate. All of these changes happened in just a few breaths. Bao Ming didn't expect that Gu Chansha would instantly suck away the Emperor's energy from the Sky Dragon Spirit Gathering Flag, complete the Sacrificial Rite, and learn the Sun and Moon Sacrificial Rite. Even if she was really meticulous and had a high cultivation, she wasn't able to see through the changes. She only saw that the Sky Dragon Spirit Gathering Flag was shining brightly, and its ability to change was much stronger than before. Of course, this was a good thing for her. Gu Qinsha condensed the flag. Although the Emperor's energy was sucked away, it didn't damage the treasure at all. Bao Ming couldn't use the Emperor's energy either, as it was just trash to her. These are the 18 flags I got from Prince Gu. I have returned them to them, and I am giving them to you. Gu Qinsha took out the 18 flags. Okay, Bao Ming took them. You have the Dragon Gate, so you don't need them. I still need to rely on them. Each more flag means more spiritual energy gathered. Thank you for this. Sister, there is no need to be so polite. Gu Qinsha said, That's right, Wen Hong has taken away the Buzhou Palace. In the future, there will definitely be countless demons appearing. If Big Sister has the time, we can subdue the demons together. After my Dragon Gate absorbs the demons, we can convert them into Dragon Chi and condense them into dragon-raising pills. I can give them to Big Sister. At that time, Big Sister will have another genius under you. Chapter 208. After Gu Chansha obtained the Sun-Moon Talisman and the Sun-Moon Sacrificial Rite, he had a great comprehension of his cultivation. He combined the God-Sealing Art and the Great Massacre God Art to activate the Dragon's Gate, allowing the Dragon's Gate to unleash its full power. Although he wasn't at the demon-swallowing, ghost-eating realm, the Dragon Gate had the ability to do so. Originally, the Dragon Gate could swallow Lightning Beast King Lei Wusha's soul and turn it into dragon energy to form a dragon pellet. If it was formed from the primordial Dragon Gate, it would be a dragon-raising pill. His Dragon Gate was a fake and was slightly weaker than the dragon-raising pill, but it could still make one a genius. Now that the Dragon Gate refined the sun, swallowing Bashi bag, it obtained more primordial Dragon Gate energy. If it absorbed enough Xiantian energy and soul, it would be able to form a similar dragon-raising pill. Bao Ming wanted as many of such pills as he could get. Of course, Gu Qinsha's words were tempting to him. You are a good lobbyist. The atmosphere between him and Bao Ming eased up, and they became friends once more. Moreover, after both sides made things clear, their relationship improved, and they didn't need to fight with one another anymore. I have comprehended the Great Massacre God technique and used it to form the Dragon Gate. In the future, this Dragon Gate might be able to sense the true primordial Dragon Gate. At that time, it might even be able to absorb energy from the true primordial Dragon Gate to nourish my small Dragon Gate. Gu Qinsha knew how amazing the Great Massacre God technique was. As long as he comprehended it, he would be able to open numerous doors and find the depths of space and the true secrets of the thousands of dimensions. As long as he cultivated the Great Massacre God technique to the extreme, he would be able to find the primordial Dragon Gate. What you mean is that the Dragon Gate will continue to grow in the future. Bao Ming stared at Gu Qinsha's dantian like he was trying to see through it. Of course. Only then did Gu Qinsha sit down. There are many talents in 10,000 treasure mysterious sect. Sister can poach some of them and make them your subordinates to refine treasures in my land. We could buy all sorts of materials to refine treasures and earn tens of times the profit. This is a huge piece of meat. I don't think we can compare to the Celestial Designer Institute when it comes to forging magical treasures. Bao Ming said, for example, the horned dragon armor, the white tiger adamant battle blade, and the Dojan wine are all good stuff. Our myriad treasures' mysterious gate doesn't have the secret to it. The Heavenly Craftsman Institute's artifact refining arts are indeed terrifying, and the techniques involved are very difficult to learn. Gu Qinsha frowned, but they might not be able to control the entire market. We also have a chance. I can give it a try. Bao Ming said, since you and I are working together, we must create a situation. As for the matter of the myriad treasures' mysterious gate, I will settle it. If that's the case, then it's a deal. I'll first hide my identity and go to the Precious Jade Nation to settle this matter. The Precious Jade Nation must offer amnesty. Gu Qinsha and Bao Ming would discuss the plan for a while. Then they got up and activated the sun and moon glyph to hide their bodies. There was no trace of their aura at all. The sun and moon talisman used runes to communicate with some kind of law in the unseen world, thus harmonizing with heaven and earth. The rune that Gu Qinsha had just drawn was an invisibility talisman. The invisibility talisman was extremely common among spells. It was used to restrain one's aura and confuse the enemy's vision, making them invisible. The principle was to use various medicines to exchange for each other, draw them on the talisman, and then burn them to form airflow to create a camouflage. Gu Qinsha's King Dragon armor had fused with the Dragon Transformation liquid. The Dragon Transformation liquid contained the blood of the illusionary Snake King, which was an expert in invisibility. Therefore, the King Dragon armor's invisibility ability was extremely tyrannical. But compared to the invisibility talisman of the Sun and Moon talisman, this kind of invisibility ability was like a shrimp meeting a giant whale. The invisibility talisman of the Sun and Moon talisman used one's innate gang chi to outline runes, constantly communicating with heaven and earth. In the unseen world, it used the power of the heaven and earth's magnetic field to create a kind of resonance, causing the spirit to be completely in the state of being one with heaven and earth. A person's aura blended into heaven and earth. Not only would it disappear from sight, but it would also completely disappear from the spiritual perception of experts. In addition, the Sun and Moon talisman had various other changes, such as the Spirit Gathering talisman. When Gu Qinsha drew a rune, the rune would automatically absorb spirit chi and turn it into spirit liquid. This was the effect of the Heavenly Dragon Spirit Gathering flags. In other words, he could create the Heavenly Dragon Spirit Gathering flags himself. There were also the Strength Talisman, Water Trap Talisman, Fire Trap Talisman, Alchemy Talisman, Treasure Seeking Talisman, Flying Talisman, Armor Talisman, Divine General Talisman, Enlightenment Talisman, Lost Talisman, all kinds of strange talismans. The so-called talismans were the representation of the laws of heaven and earth in the form of images. The Heaven Sacrifice Talisman was the same. With Gu Qinsha's current cultivation, he could use the Sun and Moon talisman as soon as he obtained it. Of course, there were some talismans that he still couldn't use. For example, the Spirit Exorcism Talisman, which could control gods. It could make gods descend to the mortal world and walk in the mortal world as his servants. The ancient emperors could have such divine power. Right now, Gu Qinsha's cultivation was still very low and couldn't compare to the ancient emperors. Fortunately, after he started to understand the Sun and Moon talisman and the Sun and Moon sacrifice, his Khanate gang chi became more varied and could greatly improve his combat ability. So powerful. Bao Ming saw Gu Qinsha's body flicker, and he immediately hid himself. It was as if he had never been there. She couldn't help but be shocked. I hid my power, but even if I used my full cultivation base, I couldn't find his invisibility art. How long has it been? His cultivation has actually risen to this level. Even with the Dragon's Gate, it can't be like this. Or rather, even if he was an unparalleled genius, his cultivation speed couldn't be this fast. Moreover, he's just a genius. This is abnormal. Bao Ming'er was deep in thought. She was thinking about how to cooperate with Gu Qinsha. Since Gu Qinsha knew that she was the Dragon Lord of the Great Wei dynasty, and he had expressed that he wouldn't be enemies with her, but instead would cooperate for mutual benefit, then she would fight for the greatest benefits. There was no benefit in falling out with Gu Qinsha now, and it was extremely dangerous. Moreover, Bao Ming'er could also see these changes. Gu Qinsha had a gentle personality, but he was definitely not stupid. On the contrary, he was meticulous, scheming before taking action. He was meticulous in all aspects and did not reveal anything. He was a powerful person. Even if Bao Ming'er schemed in secret, she might not be able to win against him. This kid is hard to deal with, but if we cooperate, we can indeed gain great benefits. Bao Ming'er stood up and looked at the castle in the distance that was completely covered in purple qi. Then, she looked into the depths of the ground. The veins were like a maze, and no one knew how deep they were. The killing formation continued to condense, and with each passing day, the castle became more stable. That was the black tortoise's painstaking efforts to build its nest. The black tortoise was one of the 4 divine beasts. It was born with the law of water, and it was also born with a saint body. Once it hatched, it would have earth-shattering power. Other than that, it grew stronger with each passing day. Now, it hid underground and built its nest. Even an expert many times stronger than it would find it extremely difficult to kill it. As long as it was given enough time, it would be even more terrifying than a god. With the help of the black tortoise, Gu Qinsha's power was practically unshakable. Unless an extremely strong existence makes a move, they can capture the young black tortoise. But this is the imperial court's territory. Those strong people, like Li Wanlong, avoid angering the heavenly talisman emperor, so this black tortoise can survive the most dangerous period of its childhood. Bao Ming'er actually eyed the black tortoise covetously in the depths of her heart. The half-hatched black tortoise was the easiest to snatch. Of course, the young black tortoise was also the best treasure to a true expert. Gu Qinsha flew rapidly in the air. He used the King Dragon Armor's ability to draw invisibility talismans, flying talismans, and spirit-gathering talismans on the armor. Immediately, the King Dragon Armor's ability to absorb spiritual qi increased tremendously. It continued to absorb spiritual qi silently. Not only that, but the armor's flying speed also increased many times. After familiarizing himself with the Sun and Moon talismans, Gu Qinsha's understanding of forging weapons increased greatly. As he flew, he refined the King Dragon Armor again and activated all sorts of abilities. This armor was originally made of very good materials. It had been dipped in the dragon transformation liquid, fused with the heavenly demon relic shard, obtained the scales of the ancient king dragon, and even received the nourishment of the sun and moon dragon blood for many days. After Gu Qinsha refined it again with the sun and moon talismans, the armor could change at will. It had a very strong spirituality and self-cultivation ability. The acupoints in its body were open one by one, and it gradually gained the various internal shapes of a human body. Gu Qinsha once again injected the 10,000 miles flying cloud escape into it, causing the armor's speed to increase even more. If it showed its body, one could only see a black line flashing across the sky. At the same time, Gu Qinsha refined the demon subduing blade again. He injected demon subduing talismans, alchemy talismans, exorcism talismans, and annihilation talismans on it. This demon subduing blade was beginning to truly evolve into an ancient divine weapon. The sword, the armor, and the 3 treasures of the Dragon Gate were all refined by him. The 3 treasures complemented each other, and it was extremely smooth when used. As he flew, Gu Qinsha calculated his martial arts. He only felt that his spirit was soaring, and it was enough to compete with anyone of the younger generation. He circulated his martial arts with all his might, forcefully opening his acupoints to absorb spirit chi. His entire body breathed in and out, and a spirit fire was born. This was another attempt to break through to the Samadhi, true fire realm. He had already sent a message to Frost Jade Dew and Long Yuyun, telling them to stay put and wait for him to come. His movement technique changed continuously in the air. After a full 2 hours, he actually rushed from the savage fiefdom to the seaside. Back then, his cultivation was still shallow, and it took him a few days and nights to fly to the seaside. But now, his cultivation was more than 100 times stronger than it was back then, and his speed was far from what it was back then. He had long locked on a Frost Jade Dew and Long Yuyun's location. They were at a port by the seaside, and there was a fleet anchored there. It had not moved yet, quietly waiting for orders. The leading ship was like a huge shark. It was pitch black, and it gave off the aura of an ancient prehistoric sea beast. Chapter 209. Whoosh! Gu Chansha landed on the warship and revealed himself. "Greetings, Your Highness." At this time, Frosty Jade, Long Yun, Loha's incarnation of righteousness, and Long Zaifei were already on the deck to welcome him. They were originally going out to sea, but upon receiving Gu Chincha's orders, they immediately waited and began to plan. "Rise. I'm going to hide my identity this time. I can't be exposed." Gu Chinsha waved his hand. "Let's talk inside." Everyone went down to the deck and spoke in the cabin. "This desolate shark warship is the latest product? It's not supplied to the outside at all. How did you get it?" Gu Chinsha's artifact refining skills were very exquisite. He could already see that the steel of this warship was very special. Its structure seemed to be composed of runes composed of many tiny particles. There were exquisite veins on the steel that seeped into the interior, causing the warship to be abnormally tough, light, and fast. It also had the ability to stabilize the wind and waves. "Your Highness, this desolate shark warship was exchanged by Princess Uefu from the Celestial Designer Institute. She gave the blueprints of the profound Sky Dragon ship to them in exchange for many things. This desolate shark warship is one of the things she exchanged for, and it's talisman steel that the Celestial Designer Institute created after studying the profound Sky Dragon ship." Long Zaifei hurriedly answered. He was worthy of being called a peerless genius. After going through tempering, he paid close attention to everything and did everything without leaving a single drop of water. He then explained in detail to Gu Chinsha. It turned out that the great Yonko Navy's fleet changed very quickly. There were new things almost every year. This desolate shark warship was an upgraded version of the Fire Shark warship. It used a special steel recently developed by the Celestial Designer Institute called talisman steel. It was refined from all kinds of metals, blended, and forged into runes. Talisman steel had already surpassed the essence of metal. It had become a treasure sought by all the grand clans, common experts, and even immortal cultivators. So that's how it is. The Celestial Designer Institute's technology is advancing with each passing day. Gu Chensha used his true chi to seep into the warship. He immediately sensed the structure of the talisman steel and knew how to refine it. This was a method he had learned after studying the sun and moon glyph. Once he learned the sun and moon glyph, he could master any talisman in the world. Moreover, he had even learned the great Xian Hao divine ability. Liu Baiwei obtained 3 magic treasures from the depths of the Buzhou Palace: the sea-carrying gourd, the 10,000 miles flying cloud flag, and the black vast dragon ship. Among them, the sea-carrying gourd was integrated into the Dragon Gate. As for the 10,000 miles flying cloud flag and the Xuanhao dragon ship, she comprehended 2 cultivation methods: 10,000 miles flying cloud escape and Xuanhao great magical power, and she taught them to Gu Chensha. Gu Chensha was calculating carefully now, and had already calculated the structure of the Xianhao great divine art. Therefore, to him, this desolate shark great ship was already completely clear, and there were no secrets at all. Gu Chench's body suddenly moved. This ship does have some mysteries, but the Heavenly Craftsman Department's forging methods are not exquisite enough. They haven't displayed the essence of the Baron Shark ship's inscriptions. Since we're going out to fight, we need to strengthen this ship. A cluster of astral clouds appeared above his head, and many runes were constantly changing within it. Rumble. With a thought, the runes formed from astral energy burrowed into the ship, and suddenly, the whole ship seemed to be floating in the air. Crack, crack. In the depths of the ship, the structure of the astral energy talismans changed accordingly. In one breath, Gu Chansha evolved his innate astral energy into flying talisman, spirit gathering talisman, fortitude talisman, and so on, so that the ship could absorb spirit chi, travel through the meridians, and have the ability to float. This desolate shark great ship also had many functions, such as cannons, and so on. Gu Chansha didn't change them, and only added some functions, sturdiness, and speed, so that the ship's overall ability was at least several times higher. Your Highness's innate astral energy is so powerful. He actually refined the entire desolate shark great ship. Long Zifei said in shock. The desolate shark great ship can hold 8,000 people. It's practically equivalent to a city on the sea. Even if you want to refine it into a magic treasure, you need at least 100 people who have cultivated the glass jade body to input it together and change the structure. Your Highness was actually able to successfully refine it by himself. Long Zifei was an unparalleled genius, and he also knew that his talent was 1 in a billion. Although he looked respectful and humble on the surface, he still had a bit of arrogance and conceit in his bones. His cultivation had advanced by leaps and bounds, and he had comprehended a lot of things these days. He had many hidden techniques, but compared to the current Gu Chansha, he was still far from it. Instantly, he nodded to himself. He felt that he shouldn't be proud of his talent, and he started to reflect on it. You all know the news I got from Bao Ming'er. Gu Chench's innate astral energy was boundless, and the Dragon Gate's absorption ability was like a black hole in the universe. It was endless, and it had the feeling of swallowing all things. The energy used to refine the entire desolate shark great ship recovered very quickly through the Dragon Gate's absorption of spirit chi. We received your Highness's message and immediately stood here to await orders. Long Yun hurriedly replied, but according to my intelligence, the strongest person in the Great Wei Dynasty Envoy group is only at the 7th transformation of the Dao realm, someone who can leave the ground and fly. Bao Ming'er's intelligence should be correct. There's no benefit in lying to me. Gu Chansha analyzed, this is because the Envoy group hid very well. It's normal that you couldn't detect them. It's our fault. Yuhan Lu hurriedly blamed herself. I sent many spies in Baoyu country, but they didn't find anything. We should think of a countermeasure now. Gu Chansha had no intention of punishing them. Long Zifei, what do you think we should do? Your Highness. Long Zifei thought as he answered, the Great Wei Dynasty is our mortal enemy. Those who are not of our race definitely have different intentions. We should prepare an expert to assassinate that Gu Hua at lightning speed. Only by wiping out the Envoy group can we put an end to the ideas of those with ulterior motives in Baoyu country, and also intimidate the immortal Dao. That Gu Hua is a golden core great Dao expert, and it's extremely difficult to kill him. If I meet him, I can at most block him, but it's impossible to defeat him. Gu Chansha calculated, with so many of us working together, we might not be able to kill him. Not to mention that the Great Wei Dynasty has many experts. If they have other plans, we will be in great danger. Why don't we ask Princess Uefu to come and work together with your Highness? Then this person will be easy to deal with, Long Zifei said. Princess Uefu is busy with the immortal Dao and has no time to spare. Gu Chansha thought about it. If he worked together with Liu Baiwei, they could really kill a golden core great Dao expert of the 18 transformations Dao realm. But this was his own matter, and if Liu Baiwei interfered, not only would there be criticism from the imperial court, he would also not be able to train himself. There were many things in the calming celestial bureau, and Lu Baiwe and the fourth were too busy. He had to take charge and help them solve their problems. Master, actually I have a secret technique that allows me to abandon this incarnation and use my life in exchange for great killing power. As long as I seize the opportunity, I might be able to harm a golden core great Tao expert. At this moment, Leluha's incarnation of Yi Zheng spoke. Gu Qinsha looked at Yi Zheng's young incarnation. It was the genius of Chongyang Xian sect, Li Yaoyang. This incarnation was extremely strong, several times stronger than Yi Zheng's main body. Yi Zheng's cultivation was at the 17th transformation, splitting Tao soul. At most, he could split into 3 primordial spirits. He had 3 primordial spirits, but only 2 incarnations. This was because he hadn't found a good body for the 3rd primordial spirit to reside in. If he couldn't find a good body, then he might as well not have it. If he found a fool to reside his primordial spirit in, not only would there be no benefits, but it would also damage the primordial spirit. In the future, it would be difficult to cultivate to the 18 transformation golden core great Tao. Now that Yi Zheng had plotted against the genius Li Yaoyang, seized his corporeal body, and devoured his primordial spirit, his own primordial spirit would be nourished. Although he couldn't become a genius himself, he would more or less borrow some of Li Yaoyang's talent, and his cultivation would be extremely strong. This method won't work. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. Every time he saw Li Yaoyang's incarnation, he was deeply moved. He said along Zai Fei, "Look, this Li Yaoyang was also an unparalleled genius back then. He entered the celestial Tao and was unparalleled. But because of this, he actually fell into the hands of evil and was refined into an incarnation. This is a lesson. Your subordinate knows." Long Zai Fei hurriedly said, "Even if he has outstanding talent, don't neglect him. The tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. This is an ancient saying. It's good that you know." Gu Qinsha said to Yi Zheng sternly, "You have committed too many sins. In the future, you must make up for them one by one. Isn't it a pity to just die like this? Also, if Li Yaoyang's body is reconciled with the profound sect of Chongyang in the future, you must return it to them." "Yes, master." Yi Zheng was a yes man and didn't dare to say anything more. Back then, Leluha had killed countless people. His sins were simply monstrous. Although he was subdued by Gu Qinsha wasn't very at ease with him. He had to constantly warn him. "Let's go. We can set sail now." Gu Qinsha walked to the window and looked at the distant sea. "How many people did you bring this time?" With the desolate shark warship as the main force, there are also 13 other wind shark warships as guards. "We brought 10,000 people, all elite soldiers, and some goods. Most of these people aren't soldiers of the Imperial Court. They are people from Dragon Sword Island and my people from Ocean Rock Island. I have incorporated them as a merchant group to do business in many countries overseas." Long Yuyun hurriedly said, "Because this time the Imperial Court didn't make a big fuss, so we try to keep a low profile and pretend to be a merchant group." "Well done." Gu Qinsha nodded. The entire fleet slowly set off and sailed towards the depths of the sea. Everything was calm and peaceful. However, just as the fleet set off, in the distant deep sea, in the deepest part of the sea, a pair of evil eyes pierced through the seawater and stared at the direction of the fleet. Chapter 2:10. Rad 4, Rad 5, Rad. The fleet soon traveled 1,000 miles, and the coastline could not be seen at all. XSWTXT, this was the first time Gu Qinsha had truly gone out to sea, and it was a different experience. The last time he went to the seaside was when he rescued Long Zai Fei, his parents, and his 2 sisters from the residence of the first prince Gu Hengsha. However, that time, he only went around the residence and did not go into the sea. The sea and the sky were in a line, and the waves were boundless. Occasionally, huge sea beasts could be seen in the distance, and the water they sprayed was dozens of feet high. It was a magnificent sight, as if they had come to the prehistoric era. Sometimes the sky was clear, but in the blink of an eye, thunder and lightning flashed, and heavy rain poured down. The weather was unpredictable, and it was impossible to predict what would happen in the next moment. If it was an ordinary ship, it would capsize at the slightest wind and waves. But now, this fleet was riding the wind and waves, and even the biggest waves could be as steady as a mountain. The Wild Shark warship was originally the most advanced giant warship, and it was equivalent to a battle castle on the sea. Moreover, it had been refined by Clipchamp, and many runes were added to it. As long as it accumulated enough spiritual energy, it could fly and sail on the sea like an unstoppable arrow. The other Wind Shark warships also gathered together and guarded around the Wild Shark warship, forming an invincible fleet. This fleet was enough to sweep through a part of the sea. Rumble. A dark cloud flew over from the sky, and dense thunder and lightning were vibrating. Clipchamp observed the sky and saw the thunder on the sea. Suddenly, his mind moved, and he silently flew up from the Wild Shark warship, straight into the clouds, and rushed into the thunder. Crackle. In the depths of the dark cloud, thunder and lightning exploded. Even a 1,000-year-old monster would be frightened and hide, not daring to come out, afraid that its demonic energy would attract the thunder and it would strike them to death. However, Clipchamp intended to absorb the thunder and lightning for his own use. He had comprehended the sun and moon talisman, and the sun and moon sacrifice contained the method to condense thunder and lightning. The lightning of heaven and earth was extremely profound, containing the tribulations of life and death. When yin and yang energies gathered to the extreme, they would suddenly transform, producing the power of vibration. It was rumored that when the world was in a state of primal chaos, yin and yang energies brewed within the primal chaos. The contradictions were sharp, and when they suddenly collided, they turned into world-shaking lightning that erupted endlessly. As a result, the primal chaos separated, turning into many worlds. Among all the spells, the one with the greatest attack power was the thunder spell. Amongst the sun and moon talismans were the explosion talisman, the lightning transformation talisman, the lightning devour talisman, and so on and so forth. All of them utilized lightning to transform into supreme essence and extract the most profound energy of life and death from within. Sometimes, within the crazy thunder and lightning, the might of heaven and earth would tear apart space. Many strange substances from beyond the heavens would appear, brewing their essence. Clipchamp dove into the depths of the dark clouds. The lightning shook slightly, almost tearing him apart. The strong electric currents wrapped around his body, and in an instant, he was about to evaporate from the world. Luckily, he cultivated the Son of Heaven God sealing technique and cultivated the Sun and Moon Dragon body. He was 100 times stronger than people of the same realm. He also had energy protecting his body, the Dragon Gate protecting his body and armor. If not, he would have died in just one breath. Even people who cultivated the Tao Realm 9 Transformation Glass Jade body feared lightning like a tiger. Sun and Moon Lightning Swallowing, Dragon Gate Lightning Transformation. Clipchamp activated. Thick bolts of lightning drilled into his body like dragons and were swallowed by the Dragon Gate. Then, all of the lightning was absorbed by the Dragon Gate. In the depths of the Dragon Gate, the giant whirlpool scattered all of them, turning them into yin and yang energy. This energy then tangled with one another and drilled into Clipchamp's body. I can borrow it. This chapter isn't over. Please flip to the next page. I will use this chance to use the lightning to train my body, the sun and moon talisman, and the sun and moon sacrifice to break through to the Tao realm transformation and form the Samadhi true flame. Only then will I be able to fight against Guhua, who has reached the Tao realm 10 transformation Great Tao Golden Core. Clipchamp crazily absorbed the lightning. His meridians were being activated by the life and death energy, forming many runes. Life and death good fortune, heaven and earth undying, sun and moon condensed true, supreme God. Clipchamp used the sun and moon sacrifice chant to communicate with the Tao. The so-called sacrifice was to communicate. Sun and moon sacrifice had methods to communicate with the Tao, the stars, and many other dimensions. There were also methods to communicate with the sun and moon. Of course, there was the lightning sacrifice. Each time there was lightning, one would perform the sacrifice to communicate with the lightning and comprehend the mysteries of yin and yang. The lightning was endless, and Gu Chunsha continued to train his body. He used the tearing energy of a lightning to widen his acupoints, meridians, and Dantian energy ocean. After an hour, the lightning in this place dissipated. Gu Chunsha's face glowed with treasure light. The sun and moon dragon blood and the sun and moon dragon aura in his body were much more condensed. This hour of cultivation was almost equivalent to cultivating outside for 3 years. But he still didn't break through to the samadhi true flame. Cultivation is so difficult. Gu Chunsha frowned. Do I really have to communicate with Lu Baiyue's aura to cultivate quickly? When he cultivated with Lu Baiyue, Gu Chunsha was unstoppable. He could break through all the obstacles, and there were no bottlenecks. It was the same for Lu Baiyue. When the two of them cultivated, they both felt that it was tough for them to leave each other. After this round of cultivation, although Gu Chunsha's Xiantian earth energy didn't improve and he was unable to break through to the samadhi true flame, his spiritual sense grew by a lot and became much sharper. His eyes seemed to be able to see through everything in the clouds and many existences at the bottom of the ocean. He could also sense the dangers in the darkness. To a certain extent, his eyes were the sun and moon dragon eyes. They weren't as good as the heaven eye hanging space at the Tao Realm Transformation 15, but the difference wasn't huge. This was the amazing part of the Son of Heaven God sealing technique. Of course, the heaven eye hanging space had many other abilities. Not only was it good at detection, but it wasn't something that the current Gu Chunsha could compare to. Just as he was about to land on the ship, the sun and moon dragon eyes seemed to see something deep at the bottom of the ocean. A demonic shadow moved, but it disappeared right away like he was seeing things. But Gu Chunsha didn't think that way. He cultivated the Son of Heaven God sealing technique, which focused on sensing. He merged the great massacre god technique and many other martial arts to create the clumsy Fist 9 techniques. It covered the most ignorant beings and could sense danger. In that instant, he knew that something dangerous had targeted his fleet. So, he landed in the cabin and gathered everyone once more. The storm dissipated and the weather was calm once more. The entire ocean surface was like a sapphire, shining brightly, and the scenery was really mesmerizing. Do you all sense danger? Gu Chunsha asked. No, it's been a peaceful journey. I've been cultivating, so I didn't feel any danger. Long Zai-Fei replied. The lightning was too strong just now, so I didn't dare to use the heaven eye hanging space and split my primordial spirit to look around. Righteous knelt down. Should I take a closer look? Lightning was the easiest way to destroy primordial spirits. There's no need. If you watch now, you'll only alert the enemy, Gu Chunsha instructed. You'll only be alerting the enemy. This chapter isn't finished. Please turn the page. From now on, we have to be vigilant. Gather together and set up a formation. We have a formation to complement each other. There won't be any problems. Yuhanla nodded. That's good. Prepare for battle. Gu Chunsha did his best to retract his aura. That demonic shadow might not have discovered him in the fleet. This was an opportunity. The fleet was tense on the inside, but relaxed on the outside. They sailed on for another few hours, and it was already evening. The sun set, and the sky was filled with stars. The starlight was reflected on the surface of the ocean, giving it a different kind of feeling. Gu Chunsha looked at the starry sky and felt that the power of the stars was vast and came from the ancient times billions of years ago. Some of the stars that he could see with his naked eyes had actually fallen and died, but their light was only transmitted to his eyes after billions of years. The last time the heavenly Tao changed, the thousands of stars fell into the world. They weren't real stars, but but a vast and boundless energy. Guqinsha had a deep understanding of the stars. The Great Spirit God technique, the chaotic world demon tome, and even the Tao of Buzhou all used the power of the stars. There were billions of stars in the sky, and they all had their own attributes. There were the devil star, the killing star, the auspicious star, the evil star, the lucky star. However, in terms of using the power of the stars, the most famous was the Grand Preceptor Wanhong's myriad star flying immortal art. The Buzhou celestial sphere of the Tao of Buzhou could also calculate the wonders of the stars. After Wanhong obtained it, his myriad star flying immortal art could improve further. Of course, in terms of the wonders of the stars, Guqinsha's sun and moon shine together was even more exquisite. The sun and moon talismans had many talismans related to the stars. As for the sun and moon's sacrifice, there were countless sacrifices to the stars. The stars were stronger and more ancient existences than gods. Gods could only live for tens of thousands of years, while the stars could easily live for billions of years. Observing the stars, pondering their uses, and repeatedly calculating, Guqinsha's martial path became more refined. At this moment, a fishy wind suddenly blew over the sea. After the wind passed, fog filled the air, and one couldn't even see their own fingers. The fleet could not sail at all, or they would lose their way. The weather over the sea changed very mysteriously, and it was not rare for sea fog to appear. However, the sea fog at this moment was a little unusual. After the fog filled the air, the waves surged and the fleet swayed, as though the entire fleet was about to be buried in the sea. Following that, there was the sound of ghosts wailing and gods howling. There's a situation. Guqinsha opened his sun and moon dragon eyes and saw through the fog. There seemed to be many shadows of devils moving. Apart from that, there seemed to be some extremely powerful force in the depths of the sea that was about to overturn the fleet. Righteousness, you defend the ship. I'll go into the sea and stabilize the waves in this area. A smile appeared on Guqinsha's face as he directly entered the sea from the ship. Rumble. The waves at the bottom of the sea could shatter any living creature in the water. All the fleet could be overturned at any time. However, the moment Guqinsha entered the water, his body emitted intense connate stellar energy. That connate stellar energy instantly condensed, forming a huge ball above his head. The ball was a full acre in size. The moment it appeared in the sea, the waves emitted by the ball actually froze the seawater within a radius of dozens of miles. This was the sea calming pearl. It was one of the 9 Dharma treasures on the black tortoise. Guqinsha used the sun and moon transformation to circulate his connate stellar energy to simulate it. Although its power was not as great as the one derived from the black tortoise, it was not a problem to freeze the seawater. End of this chapter. Rad 1. Chapter 2:11. The structure of the sea calming pearl was complicated. Logically speaking, only those who had mastered the art of multitasking and could circulate their innate gang chi to a very exquisite level could barely condense it. However, they could only stabilize the sea within a radius of 1 mile at most. Rain? N? To be like Guqinsha, who could stabilize the sea for dozens of miles, one would need to be at least at the 16th or 17th transformation of the Tao state. Guqinsha was also very familiar with the manipulation of water. It should be known that when he transfused the sun and moon dragon blood into the black tortoise baby, many of the black tortoise's bloodline also seeped into his body and was refined by him. His body had grasped a trace of the principles of the law of water, and using the innate stellar energy in the sea was simply complementary. If it was an ordinary expert, it would be very difficult to use Xiantian earth energy in the sea because of the huge resistance of the water. But Guqinsha was like a fish in water. Once the sea calming pearl was used, the sea became calm. The fleet that was about to collapse instantly stabilized. Star absorbing pagoda. After using the sea calming pearl, a ball of Xiantian earth energy appeared on Guqinsha's body and turned into a pagoda. The pagoda floated out of the sea and instantly became as tall as 10 people. The pagoda spun violently, and a huge suction force came from it, sucking in all the surrounding fog and turning it into water that fell into the sea. Instantly, the surroundings became clear. They could no longer see their fingers in front of them. Black tortoise 9 treasures, sea calming pearl, mountain and sea painting, sledgehammer, star-absorbing pagoda, 9-yang whip, dark fire lamp, blue wave sword, sunset bow, shooting sun arrow. Each of them had supreme uses. Although the power Gu Chansha simulated with Xiantian earth energy wasn't very strong, it was just enough to get rid of all kinds of disasters in the sea. The sea-calming pearl stabilized the waves while the star-absorbing pagoda absorbed the fog and turned it into water. This allowed the fleet to immediately escape danger. Originally, with the ability of this fleet, no matter how strong the wind and waves were, they would be safe and sound. However, the wind and the fog were strange. They were not natural disasters, but man-made. It was obvious that an extremely powerful expert was casting spells. Even Yi Zheng could not do such a thing. This was definitely the Guhua Baoming had mentioned, someone who had cultivated the golden core of the Great Path and reached the 18 transformations of the Tao realm. Sea Calming Pearl, Star-Absorbing Pagoda. I didn't expect there to be such an expert. Just as Gu Chansha displayed the Sea Calming Pearl and the Star-Absorbing Pagoda, a thought slammed into his mind. Bang! Just at this moment, he felt as if his soul was fiercely struck by a sledgehammer, and he felt the world spin around him while he almost fainted. This was a spiritual attack, or in other words, the energy of the gods. It was invisible and formless, and it penetrated everything. The protection of innate energy was utterly unable to resist it. Innate Gangqi could only block tangible things. It was useless against intangible mental attacks. Fortunately, his mind was protected by the heavenly, sacrificial talisman. Otherwise, his soul would have been directly devoured, leaving only an empty shell behind. I've already predicted this move. Gu Chansha didn't panic in the face of danger. All he felt was an extremely strong evil while trying to devour his soul. He immediately activated the dragon gate in his body. Woo 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 woo. In the depths of the dragon gate in his body, a giant snake phantom appeared. It was the will of the sun-devouring Bash. After this will appeared, it sucked in fiercely, and a seemingly boundless spiritual wave instantly circulated around Gu Chencha's body. The huge evil will that had invaded his mind was instantly absorbed, and the dragon gate took advantage of it. Ever since the dragon gate had melted the sun-devouring Bash pouch, its devouring ability had greatly increased, and it had unfathomable mysteries. As the treasure of the Hell Serpent Temple, the sun-devouring Bash pouch itself had the ability to devour all things. Not just innate Gangqi, it could completely devour the formless will of ghosts and gods. Therefore, the Dragon Gate was now a treasure that could both attack and defend. It could absorb innate Gangqi and primordial spirit attacks. This was also the reason why Gu Chansha was confident that he could fight against a Golden Core Dao expert. In an instant, he devoured the evil will that had invaded his body, and he saw the demonic shadow wrap around him. The demonic shadow clawed at his head, and its 5 fingers were like hooks. With a biting cold force, it cut into Gu Chencha's body. The innate Gangqi on Gu Chencha's body suddenly swept out, turning into a picture. This picture had mountains and seas, and with him, as the center, it spread out. This was the transformation of the mountain and sea picture. The mountain and sea picture was extremely powerful in the sea, and it was stronger than any spell. Combined with the sea, it only took a slight flash for the demonic shadow to be sucked into it. The demonic shadow wanted to break out of the mountain and sea picture, but then the Dragon Gate in Gu Chencha's body sucked, and his entire body was sucked into the Dragon Gate. The terrifying power of the depths of the Dragon Gate moved, and it directly destroyed the demonic shadow. Creak, creak, the demonic shadow let out a ghostly wail, but it was of no use. It was crushed by the power of the sun devouring Bash in the Dragon Gate, and turned into the purest dragon chi, which was about to condense into a dragon-raising pill. What pure spiritual chi! It's almost equivalent to a third of the Thunder Beast King's thunder aura. Guchen Sha was a little shocked, but then he looked into the deep sea, and his voice was transmitted through the waves. Friend, you are a peerless expert. Why are you hiding? What about the dog bandit's assassination? All right. At this time, a bubble appeared in the deep sea, and within the bubble was a man. This man was very young, about the same age as Guchen Sha, 16 or 17 years old, but he had an extraordinary bearing. His eyebrows were like swords, and his face was fair and beardless. He wore a brocade robe, and he wore a purple gold dragon crown. He had the bearing of a king. He was wrapped in a bubble, and he rose from the bottom of the sea. The surrounding seawater seemed to sense this aura, and they all scattered, expressing their submission. The mountains and rivers all submitted to his aura. You're Guhua? Gu Chensha immediately knew that this man's aura was definitely that of a big shot, similar to F.A. Wuxian. Although he didn't have the absolute power of a natural-born sage like F.A. Wuxian, he still had the power to control life and death. He was the pride of the heavens, and no one could stop him, no matter how strong he was. Up until now, Gu Chansha had only seen this kind of aura from a few people, such as Lu Baiwei, the fourth F.A. Wuxian, and Xiaoyan. Oh, you know my name? The young man's eyebrows twitched, and he immediately thought of something. How dare Bao Ming betray the imperial court? What do you mean betray the imperial court? Gu Chansha said proudly. There is only one imperial court, and that is the great Yanko court of the Divine Land. Your Great Wei dynasty is just a vassal state. We are the celestial court. What an arrogant tone. Guwa wasn't angry. Your imperial court has already lost the mandate of heaven. Whatever you say is useless. However, I miscalculated. I didn't expect Bao Ming to tell you about my existence. I wanted to destroy your fleet in one fell swoop. You want to stop me from recruiting Baoyu country? Gu Chansha asked. Not just Baoyu country. Dragon Sword Island, Ocean Rock Island, and the other overseas countries are all the Great Wei dynasty's territory. Whoever dares to touch them will be killed. Gu flicked his fingers. It's good that you are here. I will take you down, hang you up, and parade you through the streets of the overseas countries. Let's see which country dares to accept the Yonko-S offer. That depends on whether you have the ability to do so. Gu Chansha said solemnly, I know that you have only recently advanced to the Golden Dan of the Great Path. Although I'm only at the 7 transformations of the Dao realm, and you are at the 18 transformations, 11 less than you, it will still be very difficult for you to defeat me. The difference in strength between each level of Dao realm is like the difference between heaven and earth. Gu laughed out loud. Not to mention the fact that you and I are 11 transformations apart. You are only so arrogant because you have a good treasure in your body. If you didn't have this treasure, killing you would be as easy as killing a chicken. Stop talking nonsense. Since you want to kill me, then attack. Gu Chansha observed the surroundings. He wouldn't attack first as he was good at defending and counterattacking. His opponent's cultivation was just too high, and all his attacks would be useless. He could only wait for him to attack and slowly absorb his Xiantian earth energy and spiritual sense, turning them into dragon-raising pills to increase his own strength and weaken him at the same time. You're asking for death. Guhua reached out with his palm and pressed down. Instantly, a mountain-like pressure pressed down. The surrounding seawater seemed to have frozen and was only restricted inwards. It was actually a sealing technique. Gu Chench's hands formed a seal, and his body turned into a vortex, dispersing all the power and absorbing it into his body. His Dragon Gate absorbed all attacks. This time, he came out to fight with Guhua because he wanted to see how much his Dragon Gate could withstand. At the same time, he wanted to increase his combat experience. Guhua was a Golden Dan Great Dao expert. This was the first time Gu Chansha had fought with such a strong person. Although he had started to devour his opponent's Xiantian earth energy and spiritual sense, It was just a drop in the bucket for Guhua. His opponent was giving him a lot of pressure. Show me what other mystiques you have. Gu Chansha dispelled the attack and deliberately provoked his opponent. The ignorant are fearless. Guhua smiled. I have already tested the power of that treasure of yours. It can devour Xiantian, earth, energy, and primordial spirit. With this treasure to protect you, you are indeed invincible, but that is all. Oh well, you are the son of the heavenly talisman emperor after all. I will let you see the 12 Yuanshan calamity demon gods that I have painstakingly cultivated. As he spoke, a beam of golden light shot out from the top of his head. It broke through the surface of the sea and into the clouds, illuminating the sea. Gu Qinsha saw that the source of the golden light was a golden Dan. This was the golden Dan of the great Tao. A person's life's essence, qi, and spirit were condensed, and after many tribulations, this pill was formed. After it was formed, even ghosts and gods would not be able to invade. Once this pill was formed, one could be said to have touched the great Tao, and qi abstinence was just a minor Tao. 12 waves of demonic qi emerged from the golden Dan and turned into 12 demon gods that surrounded Gu Qinsha. These are the 12 Yuanshan calamity demon gods that I have painstakingly cultivated. They have already merged with my golden Dan as one. The 12 demon gods represent the 3 calamities and 9 disasters. If you can break my array, I have nothing to say. Guhua's expression was very calm. I heard that your Yanko has produced a natural-born saint called Fa Wuxian. I have cultivated this art in order to kill a saint. I will sacrifice you to the array first. Chapter 2:12. Rad 4, Rad 5, Rad. This person's techniques are really shocking. Gu Qinsha was surrounded by the 12 demon gods. The surrounding seawater was pushed aside, and it turned into a formation battlefield. The 12 demon gods all looked different. Some had 3 heads and 6 arms, and held a dragon or snake in their hands. Some had a human head and snake body and bit a trident. Some had white bones and spears. They were all condensed from dense demonic qi, but they were like living people, not the slightest bit illusory. These 12 demonic gods represented the 3 calamities and 9 tribulations. Their profoundness was indescribable. Each of them released a wave of power that pressed toward the center. Gu Qinsha activated the Dragon Gate repeatedly, but he realized that he couldn't absorb this power at all. This power is so strong, and I can't absorb it all. Is this the power of a golden core, Tao expert? It isn't that my Dragon Gate isn't good, but that my realm is too low. I don't know how to use the power of the soul, and can't activate the mysteries of the Dragon Gate. Gu Qinsha knew that he was only at Tao Realm Transformation 7 and could release and retract his Xiantian Earth energy freely. He had to at least reach Tao Realm Transformation 10 to be able to comprehend the use of the mind and soul. Only at Transformation 11 could one extend one's senses out. Only at Transformation 12 could one use the soul to control the souls of others. Only at Transformation 13 could one have the ability to swallow the minds of different kinds. From Transformation 10 to Transformation 13, these 4 transformations were all accumulation stages. When one reached Transformation 14, one soul would come out of the body. Only then would one be able to use the power of the God and comprehend the use of the soul. When one used the soul to activate treasures, their strength would increase by at least 10 times. For example, if one cultivated to Transformation 14 and injected one soul into a flying sword, the speed and killing power of the flying sword wouldn't be something that Xiantian Earth energy could compare to. If Gu Qinsha cultivated to the 14 transformation and merged his primordial spirit into the Dragon Gate to preside over the transformation, then the Dragon Gate would truly unleash the power of the sun-devouring bash. It would probably be able to swallow all the fiend celestials in front of him, including Guhua, in an instant. Calm! The 12 demon gods suddenly roared. Streams of black gas filled the air, compressing the space around Gudusha, as if locking him in a disaster cage. A demon god, wielding a spear, attacked him first. This demon god was covered in pitch-black scales. When his spear slashed through the air, layers of afterimages appeared, sealing off all the space that Gu Chunsha could dodge. His martial arts cultivation was simply at the peak of this world. Kacha! Gu Chunsha pulled with both hands, and the sun and moon dragon's repulse transformed into a massive hammer. The hammer had petals, and it gave off a boundless aura as it clashed with the demon god's spear. With just a single strike, the demon god's spear was shattered by the hammer. Then, the hammer struck the demon god's body. The demonic god was pushed back. The scales on its body fell off and turned into black smoke. Black Tortoise 9 Treasure's mighty hammer. Gu didn't think much of it. Your innate stellar energy transformation is really amazing. Logically speaking, even if you reached the 10 transformations of Tao state, it would still be difficult for you to control stellar energy so easily and divide it so meticulously. But still useless. As he spoke, the demonic god was completely unharmed, and it pounced forward once more. The other 11 demon gods wielded the weapons in their hands and attacked Gu Chunsha. 3 calamities and 9 tribulations, calamity of war. Gu pointed with his finger. When the 12 demon gods attacked, they brought with them an aura of conquering the world. Pung! That was the strike. Gu Chunsha's protective stellar energy was shattered. Even his sun and moon dragon body, which he cultivated to a small extent, was cracked. However, he didn't bleed, and he was like a metal man. Crack! This chapter isn't over. Please flip to the next page. Then his flesh turned golden red, wriggling and about to regrow. Amazing, amazing. When Gu saw this, he couldn't help but be shocked. What kind of treasure did you eat for your body to be so special? It is like the best spiritual herb in the world. It seems like the Heaven Talisman Emperor really nurtured you. If I capture you and use you to refine pills, you will probably evolve into many celestial pills that can nourish my soul. It won't be so easy to kill me. Gu Chunsha stood proudly and took a deep breath. In the face of unprecedented pressure, his fighting spirit was ignited. This trip to the sea was to find this Gu Hua, and this was also his own plan. If he wasn't afraid of being forced into a desperate situation, how could he unleash his potential? His dragon's gate emitted a huge amount of energy, instantly healing his body. Sword come. The demon's subduing blade appeared in his hand. Gu Hua, I admit that you are powerful, but this is still within my expectations. I will show you what martial arts are. Gu Chunsha's body emitted a majestic aura. His personality was tough and unyielding. The stronger the enemy, the more he could unleash his cultivation. Today might be dangerous, but it was also the best training. Wang, the demon's subduing blade in his hand, trembled spiritually as if it was excited. This blade was connected to his blood, and it was no different from his limbs. When it moved according to his heart. With a flick of his demon subduing blade, it brought along the trajectory of heaven and earth, releasing an incomparably dazzling brilliance. The light was no less bright than the light from Gu Hua's golden elixir. An ancient rune flew out from the light. It was the word thunder. The chi of the sun and moon is divided into yin and yang, and yin and yang move the wind and clouds. When the wind and clouds rise, the rain falls on the fields. When the rain falls on the fields, it is thunder. Gu Chunsha activated the thunder talisman in the sun and moon talisman. At that moment, he also understood the true meaning of thunder. The word thunder represented rain above and the fields below. The rain that nourished the fields was thunder. On the surface, thunder seemed to kill, but in reality, it was to sweep away evil and clear the world. It would turn evil into righteousness and nourish all things. This was the dark in humanity. The word thunder changed and turned into 12 balls of lightning. They flew like meteors and attacked the 12 demon gods. There was a deafening sound as if a heavenly drum had been activated. It was as if an ancient god had torn the sky apart and destroyed the world. It also seemed like the heavenly Tao was furious breaking the earth and turning the sea into mulberry fields. The moment the lightning appeared, the surrounding essence chi reacted and gathered towards the lightning, increasing the power of the lightning. Crack! The 12 demon gods were struck by the light, and large swathes of black light dissipated from their bodies. They were severely injured. Gu Chensha had expended a lot of energy. He had condensed almost all of his connate energy into this strike to break the formation of the 12 demon gods. Fortunately, he had stored a large amount of connate energy in the Dragon Gate. Just a little breath was enough to replenish his body. The moment the formation was broken, earth energy gathered on the demon, subduing Blade again. This time, the earth energy was not lightning, but a needle-like light. Sun-Moon Divine Needle. It was all-pervasive and indestructible. It was a strike that condensed the sun and moon dragon energy to the extreme. It could break any defense. This was Gu Chencha's strongest attack so far. He hoped that it could hurt Gu Hua. Gu Hui faced Gu Chencha's attack. This chapter is not over. Please continue to the next page. Sword. His finger reached out and touched the tip of the sword. The golden core in his body spun slightly. Instantly, a huge force destroyed Gu Chencha's Sun-Moon Divine Needle. Then, a strong suction force came from his finger, absorbing all of Gu Chencha's essence blood and the Dragon Gate treasure in his body. He knew that there was a magical treasure in Gu Chencha's body that could absorb essence, chi, and earth energy. If he injected earth energy to break Gu Chencha's meridians, it might be absorbed. So, he used a secret technique to absorb Gu Chensha. This person's use of connate energy has reached an unimaginable level. Is someone with a golden core at the 10 transformations really so strong? Only now did Gu Chensha know how strong the 10 transformations was. There were 36 transformations in the Dao realm. Every 9 transformations was a qualitative leap. Gu Chensha wanted to absorb Gu Hua's connate energy and essence chi, but Gu Hua had retracted it with one strike, not giving him any chance at all. Moreover, the suction force from the tip of his finger was even about to absorb Gu Chencha's essence, blood, and earth energy. Your realm is too low. Otherwise, with the Dharma treasure in your body, you would definitely be able to make me suffer. The golden light between Gu Hua's fingers condensed into a vortex, sucking in Gu Chencha's sword tip. It's a pity that you haven't cultivated your essence soul to the astral projection stage. You can't use the true power of this treasure. It's like casting pearls before swine if this treasure follows you. It's better to give it to me. At that moment, the 12 demon gods that had been defeated by the lightning gathered again. Under Gu Hua's will, they transformed into 12 black chains that bound towards Gu Chensha. Sun-Moon transformation, kill, and spit. Gu Chensha knew that the current situation was extremely dangerous. If the 12 demon gods invaded him again, he would probably be restrained. At that time, it wouldn't be surprising if he was sucked dry by Gu Hua. With a thought, he activated Sun-Moon Carnage. The sword light immediately surged and many killing auras were forced out. Killing move? Gu Hua immediately felt that the golden light on his finger was about to dissipate. However, he laughed coldly. You and I are 11 realms apart. Do you think you have a chance? All right, I'll let you see the true power of a golden core. Boom! The golden core in his body jumped and suddenly started to circulate crazily. As the golden core rotated, the suction force was dozens of times stronger. With his body as the center, it turned into a black hole that absorbed everything that could be absorbed. To be able to die to my self-created wind-sucking disaster, you should consider yourself lucky. Gu Hua's body seemed to have turned into a transparent golden man. In the end, his golden core almost appeared in front of his chest. This golden core was formed by layers of talismans. The talismans inside rotated continuously like a universe in space. It was very similar to the Zhou Tian apparatus. If it wasn't for the fact that he was in a life and death battle, he would have a new understanding of the use of innate earth energy by observing Gu Hua's golden core. Gu Hua had really used his abilities. In this regard, he truly regarded Gu Sha as his opponent. This person's cultivation level is low. He is only at Tao Realm 7 transformation, but he can force me to use my origin energy. His talent is not that good. Is this the supreme mystique of the heavenly talisman emperor? He thought of the profound Emperor Dragon Emperor in the Great Might Dynasty. The profound Emperor Dragon Emperor has always wanted to rule the divine land. However, he was not a match for the heavenly talisman emperor. Recently, he was blessed by the heavenly Tao and his cultivation level improved. He wanted to challenge the heavenly talisman emperor. I didn't expect a random son of the heavenly talisman emperor to be so powerful. I should quickly capture him and force out his secrets. Then, I can control the heavenly talisman emperor's techniques. It will be very useful in the future. As he thought about it, he suddenly used his true strength. The golden core actually started to burn. End of chapter. Rad 1. Chapter 2:13. Rumble. Gu Hua was serious, and the pressure he exerted on Gu Sha was truly earth-shattering. Even when Gu Sha used the Dragon's Gate, he could not absorb any of Gu Hua's connate stellar energy. The power of his Jindan was extremely condensed and unshakable. He was on the verge of collapse several times, but he used his strong will to hold on. His connate stellar energy revolved, and he roared like tigers and dragons as he resisted Gu Hua's suction. This kid is really resilient. He was on the verge of collapse several times, but he held on. Even with my Jindan Great Path cultivation, I have the upper hand, but I cannot completely absorb him. Gu Hua used it repeatedly, thinking that it would be easy. His opponent was clearly on the verge of collapse, but his will seemed to come from somewhere, and he was always just a little bit off. He was furious. If that's the case, then don't blame me. 3 calamities and 9 disasters. Demon God possession. The 12 demon gods changed again, turning into 12 ancient runic characters. This was the true form of the calamity. The 12 ancient characters pressed forward, about to enter Gu Chencha's body. This was the most vicious method. Once the 3 calamities and 9 disasters entered the body, one would truly be doomed. This is the end. At this moment, a strange smile appeared on Gu Chencha's face. Oh, Gu was suddenly felt that something was not right, but he did not think that Gu Sha could play any tricks. With his Jindan Great Path strength, he did not fear anyone. But in front of Gu Sha, a crack suddenly appeared, as if some sort of space had been opened. Within the space, a claw reached out. This claw was not big, and it was shaped like a turtle. As soon as it appeared, it brought with it a monstrous aura, as if all the water in the world was under its control. The aura of a primordial divine beast shook the heavens and earth. Crackle. All of Gu Hua's protective stellar energy dissipated under the light touch of this claw. A Jindan Great Path cultivation could not withstand this turtle claw at all. Besides, he had attacked with all his might, and had not expected Gu Sha to have a trump card. The black tortoise. He turned pale with fright. He had already smelled the aura of a supreme divine beast from the primordial chaos. The 4 symbols divine beasts, the azure dragon, the white tiger, the vermilion bird, and the black tortoise, were the kings of the divine beasts. They surpassed the other divine beasts and could be said to be existences that adhered to the laws. The azure dragon was of the wood element, suppressing the east, while the white tiger was of the metal element, suppressing the west. The vermilion bird was of the fire element, suppressing the south. The black tortoise was of the water element, suppressing the north. In the sea, the black tortoise's power increased by several times. All the seawater was where its yuan qi was. In the sea, even an expert stronger than the black tortoise could not do anything to it. The power of the water was under his control. This time, when Gu Sha went out to sea, he knew that it was incomparably dangerous, so he secretly brought the black tortoise baby out. However, the black tortoise's divine beast aura was so powerful that it couldn't be concealed even if it wanted to. Only when the black tortoise baby reached adulthood and retracted its aura would it be able to merge with the laws of heaven and earth and not be discovered by others. Therefore, underage black tortoise babies were easy to spy on. They usually stayed by their parents' side, not daring to stray too far away. However, this black tortoise baby was originally a dead egg. After it was awakened by Guchinch's sun and moon dragon blood, it was born with no parents at all. Originally, it was spied on by many existences in Guchinch's castle. However, those powerful existences were wary of the heavenly talisman emperor and did not dare to come over. This gave the black tortoise baby room to grow. This time, Gu Chansha brought it out and directly stored it in the sun and moon sacrificial altar. This concealed all its aura. Not to mention Gu Hua, even the Grand Preceptor Wenhong could not see through it. At the crucial moment, as long as he willed it, the space would open up and the black tortoise baby could come out to attack. The black tortoise baby that hatched now had a cultivation far exceeding that of a Jinan Great Path expert. Moreover, it had been fed the sun and moon dragon blood. The existence of the sun and moon dragon aura had greatly enhanced the black tortoise's bloodline. Its potential was even greater than that of its parents. The black tortoise baby had launched a sudden attack. Moreover, it was in the sea and it circulated the laws of water. Furthermore, it was aided by the surrounding environment. How could its attack be something that Gu Hua could compare to? If the black tortoise baby hadn't hidden in the sun and moon sacrificial altar, Gu Hua would definitely have discovered it. He would not have done this and would have had other plans. But now, it was a miscalculation. The black tortoise baby's claw reached out casually. At the most crucial moment, it grabbed lightly and snatched away Gu Hua's golden core. The moment the golden core was snatched away, the 12 demon gods let out mournful wails. They turned into black gas and retracted into the golden core. The 12 demon gods were formed from the energy of the 3 calamities and 9 disasters. They were originally a part of the golden core. Now that the golden core was snatched away, the demon gods naturally retracted back into the golden core. "You want to snatch my golden core?" Gu Hua roared. Instantly, the golden core seemed like it was about to break free from the black tortoise's claw. But the black tortoise's claw retracted and returned to the sun and moon sacrificial altar. The space was sealed, and even gods would lose their senses. My golden core. After losing the golden core, Gu Hua was almost half dead. His aura plummeted. The golden core was formed from his primordial spirit and his connate gang qi. If it was snatched away, his cultivation level would drop by 99%. In the future, his primordial spirit would be restored, and he would become a normal person. The golden core was where a cultivator's life lay. Without the golden core, what can you do? Gu Chansha weaved his hands together, and a huge vortex suddenly formed. The dragon gate spat. Wong. Gu Hua could not resist at all, and was sucked into the dragon gate. But Gu Chansha did not kill him. He had planned everything out this time. He had brought the black tortoise baby out so that he could capture Gu Hua alive. From him, he could learn many secrets of the Great Wei dynasty. Moreover, Bao Ming had many heavenly dragon spirit gathering banners. Gu Hua's status was higher than Bao Ming-er's, so he had more banners. Other than that, there were many Dharma treasures that could make him rich. Even if it was one of the 72 orthodox sects of the Immortal Path, if a golden core of the Great Tao disciple appeared in one of their sects, they would announce it to the world and hold a banquet. An unparalleled genius like Gu Hua had cultivated to the golden core of the Great Tao. In the Great Wei dynasty, he was definitely one of the best. It was not surprising that he knew more secrets than Bao Ming-er. Other than that, if he could control this person, he would be able to obtain information about Bao Ming-er from him. From there, he could make further preparations for subduing Bao Ming-er. This time, my plan did not fail. The black tortoise baby is indeed powerful. Unfortunately, it is far from being an adult. If it encounters a mighty being like Wenhong, it will be hard to avoid being captured. Fortunately, there is the sun-moon altar. Even a god will not be unable to catch it if it is hidden within. Gu Chansha resolved this crisis. and suddenly flew to the surface of the sea. Seeing that the fleet was stable, he knew that the battle had not been long. It had only been a few dozen breaths of time. On the Wild Shark warship, Long Zai and the others were still on standby, ready to deal with the enemy when they came to kill. But they did not expect that just as they were ready, everything would calm down and Gu Qinsha would appear. "Your Highness!" The few of them hurriedly knelt down. "All of you rise. The matter has been solved." Gu Qinsha waved his hands, continue to move. "Be careful along the way. Leluha, split a portion of your soul to patrol the bottom of the sea. The rest of you look around. I am going into secluded meditation." Yes. Everyone followed the plan in an orderly manner. Gu Qinsha sat quietly in the secret room. The dragon gate swallowed and spat out Gu Hua, who had been swallowed within. When he was spat out, some talismans appeared on Gu Hua's body. They were like chains that locked him up, such that he couldn't move at all. Actually, even if he wasn't locked up, Gu Hua, who had lost his golden core, wasn't even as strong as someone at Tao Realm Transformation 6. "Gu Hua, you are such a genius, but you still fell for my trap." An expert at Tao Realm Transformation 8 lost to someone at Transformation 7. How about it? In this world, talent and cultivation aren't the only things that can control everything. What do you have to say now? When Gu Qinsha sucked Gu Hua into the Dragon Gate, he searched his body. This person had a bracelet on him. It was actually an ancient item, and there was a space within it. This was his storage artifact. This bracelet was made from some sort of bone. It was as white as jade, and there were many stars within. It was really heavy. When Gu Qinsha asked that question, he played with the bracelet in his hand. "I didn't lose to you, so you don't have to act arrogant in front of me." Gu Hua was really calm. "I know that you have a Xuanwu God beast, but it is young. Many experts want it, and you might not dare to bring it out. I didn't expect you to actually dare to use it to sneak attack me. This bracelet is the Star Dragon Hoop that Xianhuang Dragon Emperor gave me. It is sealed by Xianhuang Dragon Emperor, and you won't be able to open it. If I kill you, then when I open it..." Gu Qinsha smiled. "You can't kill me. Although you won this time, took my golden core, and even imprisoned me, I have already used the burning lamp technique and lit it up in the main temple of the Great Wei dynasty, leaving behind a sliver of my primordial spirit. As long as I die, my memories can be reborn in the lamp. At that time, the mighty figures of the Great Wei dynasty will know and rush over to kill you. With their help, I can reform my body. Although I have lost all my cultivation, I still have my talent and experience. I will be able to cultivate it back very quickly. There's such a wondrous technique." Gu Qinsha was actually very familiar with the records. He knew that as long as one was of high cultivation and could split their primordial spirit, they would have a backup plan. Coupled with the help of experts, they would be hard to kill. At the end of the Tao realm, especially with the undying body, even if one was torn to pieces, they could still reassemble themselves. Even if there was only a drop of blood left, they could still be reborn. "We can make a deal." Gu Hua did not seem to realize that he was being imprisoned. He actually wanted to negotiate with Gu Qinsha. "If you let me go, I can give you all the treasures in my Star Dragon Hoop. I will also take my subordinates and retreat. I will give you all the overseas countries. How about that? Letting a tiger back into the mountains will bring about endless trouble. You are a golden core great Tao expert and have many tricks up your sleeve. If not for Xuanwu's sneak attack, you would definitely have escaped." Gu Qinsha also knew that although Gu Hua made it sound easy and said that he could be reborn, in reality, this situation was extremely dangerous. There was only a 20 to 30% chance that he could be reborn. There was also the possibility that he could die. And even if he was reborn, it was very likely that he would never be able to cultivate to his current cultivation level. "So you're saying that you must kill me?" Gu Hua's heart sank. That might not be the case. Gu Qinsha's words gave Gu Hua a glimmer of hope. "As long as you are willing to cooperate with me, not only will I not kill you, I can even return your golden core to you. Our great Yonko and the Great Wei dynasty are not enemies. Fighting each other is the last resort. Only a win-win situation is a win-win situation." I have already discussed this matter with the Lord of the Treasure Dragon. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.